Here we go, Bri.
Hey, Ann.
Hiya.
And I thought we would start this stream by saying something nice to each other about the other.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay, here, I want to go first. Ann.
Oh, God.
I really...
Hold on. I want to just focus on what you're saying really clearly.
Okay, I really want to say how much I appreciate your... I don't know how to... your heroine spirit. I really love that you are this feisty thing. You know, you're an icon. Icon's not the word. It's it's like you're iconic. I can't think of the word exactly, but it's you're archetypal. You're archetypal. You're archetypal, and you're like the perfect heroine in a great novel. And you've got an undying spirit of feist, and sometimes it drives me up the wall, but
we're saying nice things.
But deep in my heart, I love it very much. Okay.
Thank you. That would be the second time in like 3 months someone has called me iconic. So I really appreciate that.
Okay. All right.
So thank you. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Let me say something really nice about you.
Okay.
I, first of all, just enjoy so deeply and treasure our friendship, our long enduring friendship. And I think it is a boon to the way we are friends that we can celebrate one another.
Of course.
Yes. And I think
either I've dropped off or Andrea's dropped off. I'm pretty sure it's Andrea, but...
What? No, you're frozen. I see you.
That's okay.
I see you.
We are friends. Let me just make sure that we are... it's me and that I'm still live.
You're live. I see you.
That's
I'm
so
saying
funny.
nice things. I'm trying to talk. You can't hear me?
It could be me. I hope it's not me.
I think it's you.
How are you, folks?
Nice things. I'm trying to talk. You can't hear me?
Oh, no, I'm frozen. No, I see Andrea. Okay, here's what we're going to do.
Quick reload. There goes Brian. As I was saying, since I'm still here and he's not, I have such deep love and undying respect for Brian. He is incredibly intelligent. He is incredibly brave and creative. He puts himself out there, and I really admire that in him so much. Also, anyone who leaves their comfort and home to adventure in a new world, I have such mad respect for that. He has navigated Japan like a fucking rock star, learned the language, integrated himself into an amazing arts community. And while he won't hear any of the nice things I am saying about him until he watches the stream later, I do say it with all my heart. Brian Peterson is one of my dearest friends in the whole world. And I'm so grateful that we get to share this life together. Since I'm just riffing, waiting for Brian to come back, which is hilarious, maybe I'll set up what we're here to do today. So welcome to episode 6, wowzers, of Read Icculus. Gosh, the light has really hit my glasses in a big way. We are going to skim the deep reservoir of Rob Mitchum's work on Phish today. Brian, you missed all the nice things I said.
Of course I did. Of course I did.
To go back and rewatch. I was just sort of riffing on what we're here to do today, but
yeah, no, okay. I trust that. I hope you didn't throw me under the bus, but I trust
there was no bus throwing. Not this time around. Not on this podcast. We
shake that off. Okay.
We had a hot convo earlier, but that's what friends can do. They can get heated and they can come back around and keep being loving, devoted friends to each other. I think that speaks to the depths of our friendship.
Yeah. I think it's I don't know. I've thrown in the towel on a few friends.
Well, God, I have too. This happens in life.
Yeah,
but not you and I don't think our conversation earlier is a throw in
no. But it is an interesting notion that you're devoted to some and not to others, like truly devoted. Like some relationships, they're forged from, you know, heavy stuff, you know, and some are not, and they take decades, I guess, to forge the strongest ones. But yeah. Okay.
Can I tell a funny story real quick? I don't know.
So long as I can tell one after you, but go for it. You
yes,
go first.
Of course.
Okay.
Once upon a time, when you and I worked at Dot's Diner, we were having an existential argument about reality.
Okay.
And you were getting very far out. No, it's not real. Nothing is real. Blah. And I pinched you really hard. And I said, "We're real, motherfucker," or something like that. And you're like, "Ow!" I'm like, "See, you're real. It hurts when I pinch you." Do you remember that?
Well, I'm actually, it may be adding to some trauma.
Oh no, are you frozen?
Mother did the same thing to me once.
Your
She
mom?
pinched the back of my arm, my mother's mother, and I was
grandma,
and I remember thinking like, no. My mom can do that. You cannot do that. But
I didn't know that at the time.
No.
Traumatize you.
It kind of connects me to my grandmother. Actually, it's kind of a fond memory all these years later. But yes, I think it probably startled me, and I probably was saying some stupid shit. Okay, my funny thing was today, or no, was it earlier this week? We were looking for. I was in a meeting, and somebody was suggesting that we recruit this person within our community to come and participate in this upcoming thing we have, and the guy's name is Harry Uden, and somebody said, "Oh, I know who we should get Harry," and then somebody said, Harry who? And I just started laughing. They said, Harry. That's what I'm saying, Harry who? And I was like, like, what's so funny, Brian? I'm like, never mind.
Harry Hood. Yeah. Okay. This was the story you wanted me to remind you about in our Facebook thread.
Yes. There was another one as well, but anyway, that was the one that was just had me kind of falling out of my chair. I was like, I never mind. I can't explain it.
You can't explain it.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, how was the river? We were saving it for the start of our podcast. How was the river? Welcome back. How was it?
Let's hear it. Thank you. So, for our listeners, I've said this a number of times. I'm a teacher. I finished school 3 weeks ago. And last week I went out on an epic adventure in Colorado, ended up in Utah to go rafting. I think it's like something like 70 miles on a tributary of the Green River called the Yampa River. And it starts and ends in Dinosaur National Park. This is sort of west of Steamboat, maybe like an hour and a half or so. You put in at Deer Park and you take out somewhere else. And so I camped out for 6 nights on the river for 5 full days. Epic adventure. I lost my phone in the Yampa. That was the only sort of, I don't even know if it's that sad, because losing something that keeps you updated minute by minute in the face of tens of billions of years of geological time, I don't care. It's like not a big deal. I'm on vacation. What do I need my phone for right now? Like, I can survive a few days. I can get Facebook and New York Times on my computer. So I've been keeping up a little bit with the world. But the river trip was phenomenal. The Yampa is just an insanely beautiful river course. The rocks, I mean, I don't even know how tall they were, like 1,000 feet, 500 feet. I mean, like sheer rock walls of red rock and sandstone. And you can see the geological striping of probably billions, tens, hundreds of billions of years. This part of Colorado at one point, in Utah as well, was, miles and miles and miles beneath a vast ocean in the American West. And then at some point, the ocean dissipates, the tectonic plates shift. So you have all these really, really interesting geological formations. And it was just so cool. It's my second adult rafting trip. I went out on the Green River, Desolation Canyon, I think 3 years ago. This trip was with a good portion of the same gang of folks. And so everybody kind of has their job. It's kind of like, rafting camp. Each pod of people does like breakfast, lunch, and dinner one day of the trip. And there's like the communal kitchen, and you wash the dishes and you pack everything up, and you shit in a box. I was talking about that on episode 5. It's called the Groover. Those of you who know it's a little bit complicated because you can't pee in the Groover. And so you had to have a couple really big conversations with my urethra and butthole. So I know it's always TMI, but that's just the kind of gal I am. What do I want to say about it that's not too crazy? I can add more details later, but it was my friend Megan, her brother's husband's birthday while we were out there. Yay, Dr. Frank, emergency room doctor, just in case of anything. And we had a night where we dressed up and played frick frack blackjack. So you got like a blackjack table, cards. Our friend Cal, Sarah's husband Cal, had like the little gold cards and like the automatic shuffler. And the frick frack is like you bring like junky shit from home, and that's what you bet. And then there's the house, and the house has the frick frack. So you're like, okay, I'm going to bet this carabiner on this round. And they look through their stuff and they're like, well, I'll answer back. Here's one of my winnings with I don't know if you can see it very well, with a river koozie. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And so then, like, if you win the hand, you win the river koozie. If you lose the hand, you lose your carabiner or whatever. But as the frick frack got more and more sort of wild, because we were making adult choices on the river that night in nature, things just got really wackadoobie, and we had so much fun. There were a couple like really sort of high priced items, one of which was this little bag of candies I got at Dick's a couple years ago that said suck a bag of dicks, and they're like little dick shaped suckies. That was like, I think somebody won that in the end, or maybe the house pocketed that, but someone was really stoked on that. I won, I'm going to be drinking out of it this evening, a glass boot shot glass.
Okay.
Nice. Whoop, to go with my Japanese whiskey.
Oh, well done. Okay.
I know. So yay, Tokyo. I won some illicit things as well. And man, we just had the best time. Now, here's a quick last story, okay? So when you apply for a permit to go on the Yampa, they give out, this is, I guess it must be like the National Park System, or I think it must be the National Park System. They give out like 1% of applicants the permit to go out. So it's a really coveted trip.
And you have to wait for years sometimes to get your permit.
Yeah. It's kind of like the Grand. You put in and you might not go for 20 years, but you might be on the list for 20 years. Finally, the permit comes up, right?
Right.
So there were, I want to say like maybe 4 trips that were all scheduled to leave the same day as us. And they allocate the camp spots, and you don't want to like float past your camp spot, because then you don't have a camp spot, right? It's all very planned out. So one of the trips that was a commercial trip through this company, Holiday, it was a bunch of these old folks on the river with a string quartet performing at these natural rock amphitheaters and these beautiful beaches and whatnot all through the trip. And the trip leader, this guy Vern, he knew 2 of the guys on our trip because 2 of our guys used to work for that company, Holiday. So there's this great camaraderie. And we woke up one morning when we were camped next to them on like the same stretch of beach to violin coming through the strains of bird song as the sun was rising. And so that was really special. We miss like more of the like larger performances because we were sort of on our own trip, if you know what I mean. But gosh, we had so much fun, and we had one boat in our gang flip at one point.
Oh no.
But epic rescue, everything was fine. Everybody just got really drunk, so Amy, who flipped her boat, wouldn't be like kind of nerve tonicking alone in her drunkenness because she needed to take the down. But
did you captain any of the rafts for any amount of time?
No, I did not, but I did jump in the water to grab the rope to save the boat, and it was maybe unnecessary, but I did have my like subtle hero moment. And I washed some dishes. That's a hero moment. I carried a lot of shit. I couldn't rig a boat all by myself, but like I learned a new knot, and I rigged some shit, and I got an A+ from our captain, Jason King. So that was really cool.
Well done.
And then I guess the last thing to mention about it was really neat because like everybody who had the boats like works in natural resources in Colorado, either as environmental lawyers or they work for like environmental cleanup groups, government groups. So everybody was out there was either like a geologist, an ornithologist, a seasoned river guide. People really knew the land. So that was like just so fun to geek out on Mother Nature. And it was, just a really amazing trip. So
sounds epic.
So now I'm tan. And I'm chill, and all of my stress from the year and chatter in my mind has just gone like my phone into the river, never to be seen again. Yeah. So
I think I've been on that river. I think I've been on 3 rafting trips in Colorado, and I think I went on that Yampa section. I remember going out somewhere near Steamboat.
Yeah.
And I remember really, really steep canyons, and one of them was a undergrad geology like summer course, and it was
cool.
It was really cool. Yeah, like maybe I want to say like I don't know, remember 3 or 5 days on the river, and then another one was a bachelor party with like, and we didn't have a string quartet, but we had Playboy babes jumping out of the sky into the river.
No.
Yes, somebody had yes.
Like conditioned like the ballsiest of the bunnies.
There was like some plan that nobody really knew about. Did you hit any hot springs? There's hot springs along the
saw. Okay, that's so funny you say that. We all saw, because we're like traveling pretty quickly at this point. But like on one of like the last like maybe 18-mile stretches, we all saw this like pool built up on the side, but we didn't. I mean, maybe if somebody knew to stop, they didn't call it out. Right. But we were all afterwards when we got to camp, we're like, was that a hot springs? Like that looked like somebody built up a hot spring.
It's amazing. You can be in the hot spring and have one hand in the river.
Yeah. It was right on the edge of the river there, kind of as you're coming out, like that last day on the right. So yeah, maybe you.
Well, we had 3 rafts, like 15 drunk dudes sitting on the hot spring, and out of the freaking right over the cliff, right, like from the heavens above, come down 2 bikini-clad super babes who came and hung out with us in the hot spring. Like,
how did they like raft out with
one of the guys who was part of the party, who I wasn't who I didn't know that closely, was a Playboy employee. They were actual Playboy bunnies.
Oh my god, that's pretty epic. That's pretty epic.
A string quartet would have been nice. The Playboy bunnies were a little gratuitous.
It's sort of a different time that I think that we're talking about. But yeah, I mean, I would have been really excited to see bikini-clad babes flying down from the sky. That would have been pretty awesome. I did see like maybe 6 bald eagles. That was really cool.
Okay.
And I didn't see it, but somebody saw a moose, which is really strange, sort of in this like high desert and rock.
I've seen moose swimming across the El Dorado Reservoir, or Ned the Res. I've seen a freaking moose just swimming like in the middle of the reservoir.
Yeah, so it was just so wacky because like there's greenery and mountains and things to eat, whereas like in this landscape, it's like
it's like,
you know, mice,
Mars,
and like birds of prey and snakes and scorpions and shit. So I don't know. But yeah, the river was awesome. I'm so glad I did it. I have this you were telling me about a comic book you have in your mind. I have a comic book in my mind, and it's called The Adventures of Tough Chick and Wimpy Girl. And these are sort of like these sides of my personality when it comes to challenge. I tend to be pretty laid back and mellow, and I would call that wimpy girl. She doesn't really want to hike a mountain. She doesn't really want to like do all the work to go rafting and have to flip the boat and, you know, mess up her hair and bang up her legs. But then there's Tough Chick who's like, fuck yeah, let's do the thing. Like, let's do a 3-hour podcast until midnight, or like, let's like fucking jump in the water and save the boat, even though it's unnecessary. And like, yeah, I can like hike 12 miles. And so Tough Chick, really, I love when she wins. I love when Wimpy Girl has to just like take a back seat to my Tough Chick. I think it's happening more and more as I age. It's really satisfying feeling. Like all my high school girls think I'm like the biggest wimp ever.
Oh, really?
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
I don't think you're a wimp. I think you're Tough
Thank
Chick.
you. I appreciate that. I just prefer mountain strolling to like hiking. I mean, it's just semantics, but
we were talking about this. I've been talking about it lately, but like the majesty that you can see in the striation of the canyons, and the gradient of colors, and the way the blue changes above your head when you're it's just like it's an artwork everywhere you look, right? But I miss that a lot, but I look for it. I feel like I see it everywhere I turn. I actually used this analogy recently, like the canyon. And like when I look at a wrought iron, you know, like hand railing on the side of an apartment where there's like hundreds of them, you know, like hundreds of apartments, my mind instantly goes to the craftsman who made that wrought iron. It goes to like the what do you call it, the kiln or whatever it is, the ironworks place where it is made. And it goes to like, you know, people, it goes like all through like, you know, time and humanity and deep time. And like, I see the same, you know, geologic record in humanity everywhere, in the city, everywhere I look, in a different kind of way. That I feel like there's something really similar to my days in Colorado. It's just my canyons are, you know, paved with concrete and, you know, with giant buildings on the sides, but they're still canyons, you know?
Totally.
Anyway.
Well, it's funny because some of the erosion, well, like a majority of the erosion in this canyon is just like sheer rock, right? That's been split, and then the river found its way, etc. But some of the erosion that's closer to the river, you can see where like river currents sort of like eroded away, almost like pumice stone, like these sort of holes or cavernous sort of worlds. And I always imagine being like teeny tiny, and it's sort of like you're on like Naboo or something like that, or like on some other planet. And if you were this tiny, you know, where would you put your condo in this epic, you know, sort of like eroded rock? There's just so many variations. I just pulled up a real quick thing on the Yampa. I'll just read really quickly. The Yampa River serves as the lifeblood for Northwest Colorado in many ways. This river, due to its limited reservoir storage, still retains a natural hydrograph that sees very high peaks and low base flows. It is unregulated, wild, and free, starting its headwaters at the Flat Tops Wilderness southwest of Steamboat Springs. It flows into the Bear River on its way past a diverse landscape where ranchers, boaters, fishermen, and mountain dwellers alike have a connection to the 250-mile stretch of river. There's a bunch of tributaries. I don't know. If listeners are interested, Google Yampa River, check out the images. It's fucking insane. It is one of the most gorgeous little parts of Colorado natural world. And honestly, there's so many of them. So I would urge you to check it out. Check it out.
There you go. You're getting Colorado's getting the nature plug from Andrea. I was very fortunate to, I have a geology degree.
Oh yeah, you do, don't you?
I know.
It's so funny because you're like a photographer and a musician, and
I know it's weird.
But yeah, you went back to school a little bit later and like nerded out.
Yeah, and I was just like, when I called the geology professor and was like, I'm trying to decide if this is better, which is which is least more. What am I trying to say? Which is less painful? Which is more painless? That's the word I'm looking for. Which is more painless? Is it Friday night astronomy class, or is it like Saturday morning like geology class? And the professor, who was a pilot, he was like a little prop pilot, and he was like, "Oh, you gotta come to the geology class, dude. We go camping every weekend, and we're out on the river all the time. We do this big rafting trip, and it's like every day we're going out in the mountains. You gotta come." And I was like, really?
Awesome.
I was like, it sounds awesome. And I was like, okay, forget English literature, forget any aspirations to do anything creative. I'm getting into this world. This is interesting. But then I just,
Well, so you definitely figured out your creativity world after geology.
Yeah, geology. I don't think I don't know. I mean, I guess if you have a career, there's not. I think a career in geology is maybe, I don't know. It doesn't. I'm not sure it's that exciting. I think it's a lot of field work, a lot of like watching geologic time, which moves very, 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 very slowly.
Yeah, you have to. I think you move kind of faster than geological time.
I think so too.
But maybe this is a good segue. So I'm wearing my I Heart Nerd shirt. This is my favorite shirt to wear at Phish. I Heart Nerds.
Okay.
Because there's so many Phish nerds, but similarly, there are also a lot of geology nerds out there, and rock and eco nerds and river nerds. So this is for all the epic nerds, not just.
Okay, that's nice. That's a nice little tribute.
Yeah, but we're heading in. This is my like go-to vibe shirt. Like you had that fuck white supremacy shirt that you pulled out from the 90s. Like this shirt is as beaten, worn, and holy as that old school shirt.
I should have worn it today. Yeah. Today I'm rocking Animal.
Oh heck yes. That's amazing.
Yeah. So cool. Well, shall we get into it?
I started the intro a little bit, but
let's say hello to any guest real quick. There's a few people watching. Hey,
is anyone watching us today?
There's 5 people watching. Let us know where you're watching from, folks. And
who are you?
Yeah, who are you? Where in the world are you? We have 4D.
Are you a nerd?
Hold on, let's pull it. My buttons are going slow.
You know what? I lost my phone and I did start a new book. It's exciting. I'm reading. So you guys all know who Howard Zinn is. He's like a very famous, epic, and like
history of the world,
incredibly well-known and pedantic historian. He taught at Spelman College for, I think, the bulk of his career, but he's very oriented to social justice. And so there's the People's History of the United States.
That's the one I was looking for.
Yeah. And then there's a second edition that is Voices of the People's History. So right now I'm going back in American history, reading all of this. I think I was telling you this today, like first person primary source accounts of the people's history. So I got through Columbus and De Casas, and I'm into like Plymouth Plymouth times, sort of pre-Declaration of Independence and, Revolutionary War accounts. So it's so fucking nerdy, but I think it's important right now. And also I'm looking for like cool stuff I could use for my class. So I survived the rapids. I am reading a book.
First person accounts, folks. First person accounts.
4D man, he is our number one fan.
Love Seems so. I've thrown in the towel on a few friends. Could be a line in a Lou Reed song. Yeah, I think so. Are these still coming from? Okay, tip for all future friendships: have an argument first, not afterwards. Do it now.
Do it now. Do it now, motherfucker.
I don't know if we had any. We've been through a lot. I don't know if we've had. I mean, we've definitely had heaps of arguments, but I don't know if we've ever had like I'd say like sibling kind of things. Shut the fuck up kind of things. At the diner, no?
Yeah, I think when push comes to shove, our abidingness in our friendship has overrode any of the like shut the fuck up bullshit. I think we do have that kind of like sibling antagonism with a big, sort of main helping of love.
I think so too. You might not have lost your phone, Andrea, if it was a Freudian slip. You're unconscious, threw the phone overboard, and all it represents. Maybe. I think that's a good take, 4D.
Well, I took some mushrooms with my coffee in the morning, and sort of everything was just kind of like, oh, plop. Listen to that sound. Was that my phone? So I'm with 4D man on this. Maybe not Freudian slip. I think more like a psilocybin slip.
Okay.
Is more likely.
Speaking of coffee, hey buddy, would you make me a coffee? Would you make me an iced coffee?
Oh my god, best kid ever.
Will you make me an iced coffee?
Best kid ever.
Like ice and coffee and milk in the brown coffee cup or any coffee cup, really. Thanks, dude. Love you. Appreciate it.
Love you, bud. Appreciate that.
Man, the coffee sounded really good. Yeah,
favorite?
Just some ice and coffee and milk in there, if you wouldn't mind, buddy.
I think that this is Tuck from Colorado, who you might recall from back in Boulder days.
I know Tuck. Hey, Tuck. I don't know if we've met before, but nice to meet you, Tuck.
He is
Tuck,
a
good fellow.
Teacher. Oh my God, Trump peas in the groover. I'm making a sign. I need to make a sign tonight for protest tomorrow. Maybe that's a good one to do. Save our rivers.
Birds of the prey, snakes and scorpions, rather like the VC. Then
the vinyl community. Yeah, I can hang out and like mind fuck you all.
It's good training to spend the week on the river.
Totally, I can handle the vinyl community. I survived the Yampa. I've survived Phish tour. Yeah, Tuck and Telluride. Tuck is a teacher, and Tuck is a like rock and roll aficionado. Best dance moves. Back in the day when we were seeing
keep talking.
Back in the day, Brian, where we were seeing like Dave Watts at like the Mountain Sun on like a Sunday night or whatever. Tuck had done a funny thing where he shaved like the Friar Tuck.
Oh wow, okay, like Friar Tuck.
His head down. You don't remember him? Yeah,
Tuck maybe I do.
Amazing, wonderful Phish head, great community bud. He's in my teacher Phish group on Facebook. Chalk Dust Torturers. I do.
Chalk Dust Torturers.
Yes.
Nice to have you here, Tuck. Hey, Tuck and Telluride. I have a quick seg here for a second. This is an artist, Marco Sanguinetti. He's a pianist, and you'll love this. I might have talked. I've talked about him on my channel a couple times.
No, I don't know him.
He's a jazz contemporary composer, really cool dude, and he's Argentinian, and he told me like, hey, I'm coming to Japan, I want to look you up, I know about you through your videos and something, and I said, oh dude, you got to bring me this Argentinian band, I'm really dying, I can't find their record anywhere here. So he says, okay, fine, and he wants to trade me some records. He says, I don't want you to pay for them. I want you to give me some Japanese jazz. I said, okay, fine. So cool. I picked some records out and gave them to him, and at the last minute, he gave me these 2 records that he was like, these are imperative. If you want to know Argentinian rock, which is its own subgenre of rock, it's like stadium Argentinian rock. You can imagine, it's like, right. So he says, also, I want to give you a copy of my album. The album cover here is really simple, but he actually hosts these concerts where everybody is encouraged to draw during the concert. And they all have these like white paper and these big pens and markers. And I think for this particular session, it was all black and white. And so all the artists, this is apparently the very simple version, but there's this box version that has all of the designs. And while this 4-piece band with a DJ and with a turntablist and the grand piano, which he plays, and the cello, and really interesting instrumentation, they put on these really cool conceptual parties. And this is one of the artworks that came out of it. And when he sprung it on me that he had this, and it was one additional record to the 2 that I asked for and the 2 that I gave him back, I said, oh my God, I can't accept this. And he said, no, I want you to have it. I said, okay. In that moment, in my CD player at that moment was Phish Colorado 88, the little box set, Colorado 88, right? Where they're carrying the roads across the street, right? And I was like, oh, dude, this is the early Phish. This is like Phish in a club. And it might not be your thing, but like, you got to take this. It's got the piano on it.
You gave him the record?
I gave, not the record, the CD. It's like a CD box set. Okay. Right. Which I was like, I'll get another copy, right? I'll get another copy. I cannot find another copy. So Telluride Tuck, I need a copy of Phish in Telluride, the little CD box set. I love that. I love those shows, and they're so fun. And it's so you can hear the beer glasses clinking in the background. It's awesome. And Marco Sanguinetti got it.
Tuck is the music teacher at Telluride Middle School, I believe. So I'm sure like getting some background about this like Argentinian rock
or really cool for him. Phish in Telluride. Like that's a story.
Yeah.
That's a handful of stories.
Oh yes.
Okay. Tuck nerd Tuck.
Yes. Yep. Of course you're
maybe
a nerd.
So, maybe not.
This.
Phish artist fan collaborative performance. Okay, yes. Okay, let's plan the 40th anniversary event. Yes, we're past 40th anniversary, unless we're talking about a different 40th anniversary. Or 40th anniversary of Telluride, maybe?
No, he's talking about Telluride. I think he means in
86, maybe.
So 3 years.
88. Yeah, okay, 3 years time. Let's all meet in Telluride.
Tuck, I'm so glad you popped in. Thank you. Hopefully you'll like this. We are going to skim the depths of Rob Mitchum, who I like did a little skim through actually, and I like his writing style, so I think this will be fun.
So, and oh shit, maybe I didn't print it. I don't think I printed it all. Okay, I didn't print it all. What do you want to do? I would have no plan.
Well, I am not in school anymore, and I'm not paying for printing over the summer, so I've got my big screen open. I have Revisiting Phish's Transformative 1999, 25 years later.
You want to read
that? So that was released on the Substack December 24th, 2024. Then I have the Ghosts of Yet to Come, which he put out May 22nd, 2025. That's about the New York City Radio City Music Hall show, 5/22/2000. And then we have a series of articles that he wrote about the Japan tour.
In 2000.
So I almost want to suggest that we go chronologically by figures.
What is that? So where do I have to start there?
We would start Revisiting Phish's Transformative 1999. Then we'd move into 2000 Radio City, and then we'd go to Japan because I think that comes after 5/22. I think this happens. Yeah, this is 6/13. So we would be sort of chronologically checking out this little corner of tour from 99 through the beginning of 2000.
I'm down. I've give me a second, Ann. Let's start with the one you kick it off. Or just get it ready. I printed it. I think I left it over.
Yeah. And get your coffee, buddy. So I guess it's Saturday for Brian. It's the morning-ish. His son's making him coffee. Okay, and over here in Colorado, it is Friday night. It's almost 10:30. And what time is it in Japan, Brian?
1:30.
11:30.
1:30.
1:30.
Let's go for it. Revisiting Phish's Transformative 1999. 25 years ago. Why don't you start? This photo, I love this. Shall I share the photo real quick? I'll drop the link and share the photo.
Show the photo. I'll start reading. You show the photo. I'll go a couple paragraphs and then you pop it on.
Go for it.
All right. Rob Mitchum explores the key moments from 25 years ago during one of the band's most transitionally important periods. By Rob Mitchum, December 24th, 2024. Cute photo by Jay Blakesberg via Phish.com whenever you're ready to show it. And here's our little intro, and then we'll get into it. Journalist Rob Mitchum is the author of Phish Essays, featuring essays about each show since 1993, posted in conjunction with the 25th anniversary. After reviewing Phish's 1999 performances, Rob's essay below looks back 25 years ago to assess the integral moments that occurred throughout one of the most important years in the band's career. 1999 was a weird year for all of us. Thanks to the arbitrary math of some 6th century monk, it meant we were approaching a big fat round number, not just the end of a century, but an entire millennium. Even the less superstitious had reason to believe that landmark would mean something, be it the global collapse of computerized networks or the dawn of a new era of world peace and flying cars. Whatever the expectations, it created a fog of uncertainty that had people feeling and acting wild. I will just also add, and I don't know why it's just a black screen, but I will add that there was a run on duct tape as well as a fog of uncertainty that had people feeling and acting wild. Shall I continue, Brad? Can you?
Hi, everybody. Just a second. No. I'm just stop for 1 second. I can't even think I can't even think if this is not working.
Okay.
I'm not sharing anything, and yet I think I'm going to refresh. I might disappear for 1 second. I'm just going to refresh.
Yeah. You do you, boo. Maybe I'll come back into the picture.
Refresh. Okay.
We're still learning how to do this. See, we are like Phish in that we are improvised. And when things go sideways, we just sort of play along, which is really the joy of improvisation. For those of us in the college age demographic, the logical reaction was to hit the road and see Phish as many times as possible. I saw 14 shows that year, doing my longest ever tour run in the summer, and trekking down to Big Cypress with some fall-winter shows sprinkled in between. It's me. All that attendance bias locked in 1999 as one of my favorite years of Phish, their last triumphant lap before a fraught 2000s. But it wasn't until I revisited every show this year as part of my 25-year anniversary essay project that I realized what a strange year it was for Phish, too. In a decade full of constant evolution, it's probably Phish's most transitional year of all. And unlike the others, it marked changes both positive and negative. Phish's last year of the millennium never lacked ambition, including onstage experiments with their most abstract music yet, new instruments and places to stand, a solo tour, and 2 festivals.
And I'm so sorry. I'm really, I think you're gonna have to handle this one.
All right, Brian sounds like a robot. I'm just going to keep going. Brimming with confidence from the success of their 1997.
Just keep going.
Okay. Brimming with confidence from the success of their 1997 reinvention. Phish Destroys America in 1997. The band doubled down on taking risks. And for the first time, some of those gambles didn't pay out. Bum, bum, ba. Did they not? I mean, here we are, 1999, 26 years later. I mean, I'd say if we're playing the long game, things have worked out pretty nicely for all of us in Phish world. Many of the seeds of Phish's hiatus and eventual breakup were planted that year, but at the same time, the framework was established for the band's astonishing longevity.
Can you not hear me? What the?
The fruits of which we're still miraculously enjoying today. Yes, Rob Mitchum, I'm with you. 1999 was the end of Phish innocence and the sunrise of its modern form. Now, I wish Brian was still in the stream because I know he saw a lot of shows this year. I probably in 1.0 saw the bulk of my shows in 1997. At that time, my daughter was not quite 1, and my husband, Joe Cahill, and I bought a Volkswagen bus, and after going to Telluride Bluegrass Festival, our first adventure in that bus, we headed out east for the run of shows from Riverport Amphitheater all the way up to the Great Went, which was an epic festival. We've talked about it before on this podcast. And I think we missed Darien Lakes because we were in a Volkswagen and we wanted to get up there. So we missed the Bozos and the Bolos. And then we also missed another show because the bus broke down, and that was quite an adventure, but it's sort of, you expect that in a Volkswagen that you're going to have to pause. But anyway, I saw a lot of shows that year. My daughter learned to walk parking lots across America, which again, this is a time before the term Wookiee Mama was sort of popularized. I think I was more like a hippie mama than a wook, but I never had dreads. I probably looked a little bit like this with less of the silver. And I had a middle part more than, but I'll find some photos at some point. Tuck, Joe, you probably have memories of me. I certainly have memories of you from the 90s in Boulder. But anyway, let's continue on while we wait for Brian, shall we? This is going to be the Andrea show today. Spring, external affairs. It's apt that a fractured year began with 2 very significant events that didn't even involve all 4 members of Phish. In April, the original jam band Torch Pass went down in San Francisco, where Phil Lesh celebrated a successful liver transplant by inviting Phish keyboardist Paige McConnell and guitarist Trey Anastasio to be his special capital F friends. Those of you who don't know, there was a sort of change of monikers over many sort of post-Jerry dying dead incarnations. And one of them was Phil and Friends. So that's what he's referring to there. The 3-show run and the return leg when Phil joined Phish in September proved to be more than just symbolic, with Trey battling Steve Kimock over Jerry's legacy, and Phish, well, half of them at least, proving they had built up the clout to resist becoming just another dead knockoff. The official succession ceremony may have been slow in coming, but the delay allowed Phish to establish their own path instead of just continuing the Dead's. Now, that's an interesting part of the sentence, but the delay allowed Phish to establish their own path instead of just continuing the Dead's. And I do think, just sort of amusing, if I may, by myself here with no Brian to interrupt me, say that the sort of delay action of Phish establishing their own path in any way, whether it has been musical, commercial, popular, even with the recent sort of Rock and Roll Hall of Fame snub, Phish has always established their own thing. That's sort of why we love them. That's why they nerds, they nerds, because they do their own thing. They jam to the beat of their own drummer, who we love so much. All right, moving on. But that path was also starting to splinter. In May, Trey played his first official solo tour, recruiting drummer Russ Lawton and bassist Tony Markellis for a dozen dates, featuring new tunes and a streamlined sound. It was the first time since 1983 that Trey took a band that wasn't Phish on the road, developing his latest wave of ideas in a group with different talents and a very different power structure. Brian, I think I'm on page 3 of 8. Okay. We're just getting to the part where our author, Rob Mitchum, has let us know that Trey started his first official solo tour. And I was at the Fillmore that night they came to Denver. And you were at the Fillmore that night they came to Denver. And I bet Tuck was at the Fillmore that night they came to Denver. And that was a pretty fucking epic show. The Fillmore had been Fillmore East and West. Then they opened up. Fillmore East closes, maybe in the 70s? I'm not sure. I know I had an epic Zappa album from Fillmore East from the maybe 73.
71.
73?
I think 71.
71. Yeah. But so they open up Fillmore Denver. And Paul Simon was slated to open the Fillmore, but we've talked about this before, actually. There was a sort of run on the early internet, and Trey was sort of unofficially opening the Fillmore, and all us kids came out and grabbed apples from the baskets. So that was really fun.
I'm really sorry about the gremlins here. I'm not sure. I think my computer is maxed out. I don't have any more computing power on it, so it's all right.
Don't do a screen share. No more fancy computing. Let's just read, shall we?
Yeah,
read in chat.
Okay, so I'm on triage here. I have no idea where we are.
I'm going to finish this last bit. You're looking for summer, texture, and temperature.
Okay, go for it.
At first, it wasn't clear whether the would be a firewalled. There's kind of a typo. At first, it wasn't clear whether there would be a firewalled separate project from Trey's main gig. But as the year went on, more and more of its songs and sonics crossed over into Phish, eventually becoming the main influence on their 1999 sound, despite originating from outside. It established a dynamic that continues to this day. Tab as incubator for Phish.
Oh, that's an interesting topic. Okay, I was going to ask you, can you please just recap everything that you just said? Because I'm I didn't catch a single word of it, and I didn't read it. But I love this notion of Tab as an incubator for Phish. That's a very interesting notion there that I've never really thought about.
Yeah, so Rob Mitchum is saying that 1997 was a real success and reinvention.
Right.
And then
Funk goes.
Yeah, Cow Funk, 97 epic tour. Mm-hmm. And then in 99, some of the gambles that Phish has been taking up until this point don't pay off. Well, he didn't give
Okay.
examples yet, but I'm sure we're going to read into them because he's gonna take us through a couple of these movements in the tour. But he says that 99 was the end of Phish innocence and the sunrise of its modern form. Then the article talks about, or Rob Mitchum talks about how Phil Lesh invited Trey and Paige to sort of come play with him after his liver transplant. And there was a battle between Trey and Steve Kimock, which, like, I don't recall a battle, but I do know, and I'm glad you're back because I wanted to talk about Steve Kimock, who lives in Denver. He played with Zero. He does have quite the Jerry sound. He's incredibly virtuosic. But I guess Trey won out with Phil. I don't know. It's a little weird. And then we move into Tab, which is where you just joined us again.
Okay.
Yeah. So you haven't missed too much.
Well, I just, this notion of like Tab as an ink tab being Trey Anastasio band Tab is as an incubator for Phish is a really interesting idea. I mean, I think the two, like First Tube and Sand and Jaboo are those three tunes that come out of more forcefully than so many others, but those three just come to mind as like, that is the original Tab sound that came to Phish. And I wondered, like,
big bass.
I wondered if, like, you know, Jerry played in Jerry Band. I love Jerry. I love Jerry Band kind of often more than the Dead. I don't know. I like a demo tape, you know. I love a good demo tape.
I know you do. You like stuff that's like in the back room on the backest of the back shelves.
Man, there's this album. I always called it Live It. I always saw it. Oh, somebody who played Oregon Country Fair. You'll know who it was. Adam and somebody else.
Adam and Chris.
Adam and Chris. Adam and Chris gave me this CD once that was called Live at Kin Fon's. And Kin Fon's was famously George Harrison's house, but I don't think it was actually live at Kin Fon's. It was somewhere else. In fact, I think it was in Rishikesh. I don't think it had anything to do with Kin Fon's. And
on the way to Rishikesh.
And it had that, and he gave it to me when he said like, and it was before it got released, I think, before it like had a nation or a worldwide release, but he gave it to me as like, this is, you've passed the threshold of being on the cool level to have a copy of this.
Oh yeah, this is like, you were a hipster before we had the word. That's like I was Wookie Mama before we had Wookie Mama, but I never had dreads, so I think I was just hippie mama.
Well, he gave it to me, and I was like, what? And I just like, I heard the very first sketches of Sexy Sadie and Jealous Guy or Rishikesh and, you know, Happy Birthday. There was like so many interesting things on like there, right?
Beatles cuts. I know some of those cuts. That's really interesting.
It's out there now. It's like people know it. It's not. But it was and I took everywhere I took it. Every party I ever put, and I was like, wait a second, you guys got to hear this. I'd put this on. Everybody like, what is this? And I'd be like, I know, it's fucking crazy. It's so good. It's so cool. And yeah, so Jerry Band kind of feels like that sometimes. You hear like sketches of early versions of like, I don't know, things that would become bigger, like studio recorded kinds of things.
I can't say my depth of Jerry Band knowledge is that deep, but I always really liked it for that sort of like soulful Melvin Seals sound, real like that, like it, like gospel vibes.
It was like from a different part of the country. It was a different feel.
What were the backup singers called? They had a name.
Oh gosh, I don't know.
They were like these wonderful, big, like sort of gospel black ladies. Maybe Tuck will know. Maybe someone in the comments knows what the backup gals were.
So you wonder, like, Jerry goes off to do a Jerry Band, and who, you know, like Paul McCartney, like went off and like, you know, he was going to release an album before the Beatles were kind of broken up, and there was like a big hubbub about it, and it wasn't like that. Nobody wanted that, and you've heard that about bands that like somebody goes and records a solo album, and the rest of the band is like, "What are you doing?" You know, I thought, where's your loyalty to us, and where are these songs why aren't we getting these songs? You know, and I know that Phish has like, they've all got great side projects that they're all really proud of, and I think really supportive of each other's projects. And I think they all agree that it's like, no, this is like one of the best parts of the thing, to go away and incubate something and then to bring it back to Phish.
Yeah.
Right.
As long as Trey practices Mike songs, it's great.
Does Trey is it a stereotype that Trey fucks up Mike songs?
Yes. I will definitively say yes. Again, if there are Phish heads in the comments, like, please add your thoughts. It just happens way too much for it to, like, I don't know. Is it pathological? Is it unconscious? Is it
really? I've never even picked up on this before. Okay.
Oh my God. So I know you listened to that run at MSG, like the mini dozen, the half a dozen from a couple years ago. And they played this Mike song, Back in the Bubble. Do you remember this? It was on the second to last night, night 6.
Okay.
And me and my friend, man, were like, oh God, like Trey, like just practice, try and do the thing. Sugar Shack, like he just never gets it right. Like, I think, but he's getting that song Mull is really great. That Mike song.
Casual Enlightenment and Mull are like the two breakout songs I feel like from the last 2 or 3 years.
I've seen Mike Gordon band a handful of times, and I saw him last summer before Phish tour. And man, his band is fucking awesome, and they play his songs so well, and it's so not awkward. And Scott Morawski is just like there for it, right in it, and it's just like, come on, Trey, like just like watch Scott, just listen to some fucking live recordings, man.
Well, anyway, I don't know what we can say about it. I was going to talk about, like, I wonder if there's any sort of ego that gets involved in those decisions about songs that come from some other band, or how do they sort of by osmosis go from one to the other, and is everybody okay with is it all on the level? But putting that all aside, and just like for the music itself, it's interesting that, like, Phish is Phish, and nothing kind of comes close to it. Trey band, Mike band, Page band, like nothing is. It's the sum is greater than all the parts. It's the same way that none of the Beatles records were the Beatles records.
Well, don't forget Touch Pants.
I don't know about Touch Pants.
You really do need to do some research. It's Chris Friday he's the singer in Touch Pants.
Let me look up Touch
Mike's
Pants.
tour manager, and I used to work with him on Wanderlust tour. He was one of the stage managers at Wanderlust, and he's a real big teddy bear and also rather nefarious.
Isn't this the really off-color band that you were?
Off-color, yeah. It's like. Oh,
it looks a little Joe Cahill-ish.
Yeah, 100%. It is very mirthful and underhanded and devilish. Don't listen to it in front of your children. That's what I'll say. They won't. You won't appreciate what it's bringing to your fam.
Okay. Well, anyway, let's get back to this article.
All right, you're up.
Take some. Okay, good.
Summer texture and temperature.
Summer texture and temperature. I'm reading off the screen, which I don't really like. Let's see here. Okay, nice photo. I'm not going to share the photo, but it's of the band wearing American flags. I've never seen this photo. They're wearing like.
I've never seen this photo either. Trey is in
share it.
Red and white bell-bottom pants.
I'm going to try to share it.
Paige is in like a Mexican hoodie, but it's red, white, and blue. Like, remember in the 80s, like the cool prep school hippie look from the 80s? I forgot what those sort of Mexi sweatshirts were called, but pretty great. Fishman is shirtless with maybe a red, white, and blue diaper on, and Mike's just in denim and black. He's like, fuck you guys. You look dumb.
Let's just see here. Revisiting. This is it, right?
Yeah, I think you're at the end of page 3.
Okay. Can you see the screen now? I can't even. I'm too scared to like do anything. That's just ridiculous. Look at this. What the hell? Bell bottoms and the American flag jacket on Phish.com. Look at this kind of crappy logo they've got here.
Well, and it's funny because you can see Fishman's socks. You can't quite see his legs, but you can kind of see he's wearing something diaper-esque. I don't know. Yeah.
And it's what, the 4th of July, maybe?
Larson for this photo.
Okay. Let me get back to this article.
All right.
Okay. But when Phish proper finally launched its year, on the last day of June, the first big change was simultaneously routine and consequential. After sticking with the nectars formation for well over a decade.
Like the stage plot where
they moved the people around. Yeah, Phish, that's an interesting stop there for a second. Fishman, the drummer, was always off to the right side, and Mike and Page were in the middle, bass and guitar, and then, Mike and Trey were in the middle, and then Page was over on the side. So you had piano on one side and drum on the other side, which was a crazy configuration. I always thought it was really cool and asymmetrical and really interesting, right?
Yes, and they've done a couple different things with sort of where the band is. Yes.
Okay. Anyway, they finally put Fishman in the middle so that they could. There was complaints that like Trey could never hear the drums over the bass that was between him and the drums, and so they put him back, behind the band like any normal kind of band. And now Trey is in the middle-ish, and bass and piano, Mike and Page are on both sides, and then Fishman
kind of splits the difference.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right.
So after sticking with the old configuration, the nectars formation, for well over a decade, Phish reshuffled its stage order, moving Trey to stage left and putting bassist Mike Gordon between Page and drummer John Fishman. I don't remember this. This is yet another configuration. Okay, it was more than just visual disorienting, with the band leader standing on the wing, further separated from the rest of the band by his new synthesizer. Oh, that was a bad little era. I remember that. The blocking reflected a musical shift away from the hard-won group democracy of 97-98. Okay, I think who's our author? Robert Mitchum. He's very much like a baseball stats guy. He writes this way. He's writing more from like a statistical point of view than he is from like a really colorful, poetic kind of view. I always feel like he's got these sort of insights that are like insider, sports journalist kind of thing. And this is, I read a couple of his other things, and I remembered, this is the way that he writes. He must go to every show, and he must like pick up on all of these he must be like the craziest super fan.
Who would do that?
No, but I mean, like, before people went to I think he was, I lived with that guy Nick, who like he saw 200 shows, like 200, like 100 shows ago, You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He like didn't miss a show since 81 or something, or 80 or 91 or whatever it was. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
But that was less obvious on the summer tour, which promoted a very peculiar new album. The Sick It disc was released via Phish.com in early June, containing 9 tracks sculpted by Page from studio jams recorded way back in 1997 around the making of The Story of the Ghost. Though the music was 2 years old by the time it was released, its curation reflected improvisational priorities Phish had developed over the course of 1998, more abstract, ambient, and focused on texture instead of melody and fireworks. Very interesting. I didn't know that that was sculpted by Page. That's very interesting.
I feel like maybe at one point I knew that, but that's not something that has stayed in my mind. But I do know that the Sick It disc was sort of like before Pro Tools, certainly it was sort of like copy and pasted, sort of like collaged together from different takes from the bar.
Yeah, basically is the outtakes of Story of the Ghost that came out. They're saying 2 years later. I don't remember it being that far out, but that was another thing I was really excited about. I was like, it's like a Phish album. It's not a Phish album. It's the Sick It disc, and there's no lyrics on it. Basically,
it was Sick It, brah. You're sick.
The producer being or the engineer being John Sickett is the namesake of the record. And it also has it has What's the Use on it, which is has become like one of my all-time favorite Phish tunes. And they were like sketches of songs. It was like things where Mike has this like decompress that he does at the end of every tour that he documents on his social media, where he says he like goes back and he like systematically re-listens to every jam, and he finds things and pulls them out and takes them to band practice and says, I found these things inside our jams. shall they become songs? Oh, that was the other funny thing that I said to my funny little side note today. To my daughter, she had to go to school today, and I said, shall we go? You and I? Well, we can. She was like, okay, let's go. She's like, ah.
Did she get it? No. No. Fucking kids today.
But anyway, shall Mike saying to his...
then, you and I, when the evening is spread out against the sky like a patient, etherized upon a table?
She just like is oblivious, but it's fine. But I was thinking someday maybe that
some people are oblivious.
Yeah, no, she's not oblivious. She's just 13 anyway.
Yeah, she's 13. Like in Japan, it's not like she's getting all the Phish references all the time.
No. Okay, so why don't you take it from here? So we're heading. So that is an interesting. Did you read the word shoegaze yet?
No.
Okay, so this is like maybe when they covered, didn't they do like a My Bloody Valentine song? Or like I remember Trey was obsessed with My Bloody Valentine at some point in the late 90s or mid 90s. And I remember, and I read shoegaze in one of these articles somewhere, but we were getting into this abstract ambient thing that was focused on texture, which I'm all about that. Like that, I almost want to say that's my favorite sub, category of a Phish show, whenever it goes into the, and have you been listening to ambient? The thing that they put out, that Trey put out, it hasn't been put on wax yet. Or
I have no phone. I don't know anything.
Oh, it's called Atriums.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I play that in my classroom.
Okay.
For all sorts of reasons, but yes. I mean, I was at the Sphere and they were playing it in the atrium at the Sphere before you walk in. Right. It was so meditative because the lighting in the atrium of the Sphere was this very cool blue. And then you walked into the Sphere and you're just like, holy shit, there's this big green screen and had some little deedles going by. But Atriums is amazing.
It's like it's
like music for meditation.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. And Sick at Disc has a little bit of that. It's not as it's early versions and Surrender. What's it? Surrender to the Air. What's that one called?
Yeah. Surrender to the Air.
Right.
Yeah. Are you gonna? Yeah.
Show it. And also, I just learned about Ghosts of the Forest. Took a deep dive into Ghosts of the Forest, and I learned that there was also a composed bits of music that Trey composed that was played as the audience was coming into the venue.
Yeah.
Yep. And did you see a Ghost in the Forest show?
I didn't see the show, no, but I think I mentioned on an earlier episode we did that I listened to the whole collection, whether live or the one that was released, on repeat during the heart of the pandemic, and just like meditated and stretched and cried my eyes out for months. I mean, that album was so deep for my nervous system, for my feelings. There's so much on it that I love.
Well, they called Jeff Tansky the ghost behind the curtain. Him
playing. Oh my God, he's amazing.
Well, he was playing these pieces in the orchestra pit live.
Wow.
He was playing them live. Yeah. They weren't just like over the PA recordings. He was playing them live as they were coming out. Yeah, it's such a beautiful theme.
Have you learned anything on the piano from Ghost of the Forest?
Brief time, probably. I probably tried Ruby Waves, but
I should sit with that. That's what I should.
Time is just so simple and beautiful.
Until I get my phone, I might learn some Ghost of the Forest. Maybe we'll go live from our respected pianos at some point.
Oh my, that'd be fun.
That would be fun. All right,
so, okay, keep going. Yeah.
All right.
I have to get over here. This is not fun.
All right. Exploring that sound, meaning the ambient, textural, abstract sound. Exploring that sound in the large, boomy sheds of Summer Tour was a counterintuitive choice, but it led to fascinating sets in Charlotte and Mansfield, where the band tinkered with what they would eventually refine into arena ambient.
Sorry, I keep doing this. That's a Japanese thing. It means like, whoa. Wow. Okay. Arena ambient.
Okay. What's the use? And my left toe, love my left toe, pulled the band into a meditative state that often evades them in front of a large crowd hungry for the big, loud climax. But arriving at that reward through a different path could pay off hard. Okay, here comes the part where I was on this tour. Okay. The Camden Chalk Dust, yes, one of the most exhilarating jams Phish ever played, is built from some of the same atmospheric layering and hard groove ingredients that would come to dominate the year. After an upstate New York semi-festival, that would be Oswego, it's hot as balls, the mood of the tour changed into something more chaotic under a Midwestern heat wave. Trey screeching about the helping friendly book and the similarities between cat scratch fever and smoke on the water. I totally remember that. Conjured a strange mood for the final week, which veered between immaculate and overserved, foreshadowing the troubled inconsistency of Phish's 2000s.
So wait, Oswego, what's going on in Oswego? What's a Mississippi Festival? What is that? I don't remember that. I probably was this is probably where I was about.
No, semi-festival. It was a 2-day, it was a festival. I think it was like in upstate New York. So Joe had gone to SUNY Oswego. Off we go to Oswego, and there was like a big field, and it was like 98 degrees with no break in the heat when the sun went down. Just like a shit show of a 1999 festival.
It was just a 2-day run in Oswego, or it had
but I think they had the
Ferris wheel.
Ferris wheel. I don't know. We'll look at pictures about it.
Okay, hold on. Let's just stop for a second and just say hello.
Let me just finish the last
all right.
sentence.
Keep going. Good. Keep going.
It concluded with another potent symbol of the century's end. Phish somewhat obliviously patting themselves on the back in Noblesville, while Woodstock 99 smoldered 900 miles away.
Wow. That's okay. That's not the end.
No, it's not.
Concluded with another potent symbol of the centuries, and Phish is somewhat oblivious, patting themselves on the back. They're patting themselves on the back. What was that linked to, I wonder?
I think that's like, we did the thing. We brought this ambient sound to arenas and giant sheds.
Say that one more time. We brought ambient rock to say it again?
Like big sheds, or like big arenas or something.
I can never imagine Phish being that self-congratulatory as he's kind of portraying them here, but is that what he's doing, do you think? Patting themselves on the back in Noblesville.
They must have had some epic show at Noblesville, Indiana. Is it Deer Creek? I think
Creek, yeah. Well, Woodstock 99 smoldered 900 miles away.
Now that's 99. A shit show. You know that they made a documentary about Woodstock 99. Have you seen it?
I can't say I have. I remember it, but
so fucking horrifying. It's worth a watch, but
what was the moment that it went sideways? Was there a single moment? Was like Woodstock? Green Day or something? Yeah.
No, I think it was like System of a Down. And like people start lighting fires while slam dancing. Okay. And then like, this is why you should watch the documentary. It's insane. Well, really, there was no shade. And they set up the festival on this racetrack. So you're on asphalt, no shade. Water is like $9 a bottle in 1999. People are getting so fucked up. There's like rapes happening all over the place. There's no safety team. And now all of these men from this time are like the MAGAs of today. It's fucked up. Like, you should watch the documentary, see what you think.
Okay.
That's me being judgmental, but that was like really my biggest takeaway was like, oh, that's what happened to all these people. But there's like a crazy, who was it? Was it Fatboy Slim? There was some like awesome 90s DJ that played in this like hangar because they did it on an Air Force field. and kind of like Phish, but they didn't really think it all the way through or have like a great production team. And I think in that, like, somebody drove a like fire truck into the crowd inside this like airplane hangar or some crazy shit went down. It's worth your time to watch and be horrified.
It was the second Woodstock. They did it in 99.
They did it in 94.
94 was the 25th anniversary, and then 99 was the 30th anniversary. And 94 was also a little bit of a shit show, if I remember correctly. I think it was. I think yes to that. It was a little bit, but I think the 99 one was like, whoops, never again. We're not going to get another Woodstock ever.
No, we won't.
Just a few quick ones here.
So you're in fall, borrowed tunes.
Yeah, I know, but I just want to say 1971 was the Fillmore East. Tab featured minimalism via less instruments and ornaments. Ornaments? How do you mean by ornaments? Phish 99 was getting there through 90s Phish. We got to get Tuck up here. He knows Phish better than us, maybe.
Oh, Tuck is deep.
Okay. Demos, first drafts. Here we go. 40 Man says demos. We're talking about the Beatles demos. First drafts, rehearsals, outtakes. We're in the canoe up the river instead of the bank looking on. Yes.
Oh, for on sure. The bank I love great metaphors. Thank you, 4D man.
Jerry Garcia band ladies were Jacqueline LeBranch and Gloria Jones. I can't remember their moniker.
Yeah,
the Jerriettes.
Okay. Totally. No, it might be. I can't remember.
John Sickett was the recording engineer who did the editing, I guess, with Paige, right? Did you know this, Tuck? We didn't know this about Paige. Met him at a barn. Cool, gentle, cool. I bet so. I mean, I would have think he looks the part. You can see a picture of him. I think if I just have it handy, there's a nice picture of him right here. There he is.
Oh, nice.
Right there at the recording studio.
Ryan with the reference materials.
Well, I mean, I like this one a lot.
The
he's smiling. You had it. You've had it. And this is the famous BMW on the cover that.
Oh, from Lawn Boy?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that's what I always think of when I see that.
This is a great comment because I love hearing this. I'm the kind of Phish fan that like I don't remember what happens. I just know I was there, and like a little spark will be like, oh yeah, that's what happened. But read this comment, would you?
Tab opening the Fillmore was quite shoegazer, predictable, patient, simple. Sure, it didn't matter on that. I can see clearly now. Jam at the end. Yeah. I don't remember this either. I was there, and I remember it being the loudest show. It damaged my ears forever. No joke. I mean, they didn't have it dialed in yet, and
it was the opening night,
and I was in the very front, and they blew my eardrums. I mean, like I literally damaged my ears forever at that show. And I think they played. Yeah, they played. Didn't he play? I think they played. Ooh, child, things are gonna get easy. And they played I think they played something, but Jimmy, they maybe played Eliza or something. Or not Eliza, Isabella or something. They played some was quite shoegazer, predictable, patient, simple. I don't remember it having that. I don't remember much about it. I just remember it being like loud and crazy. I was so fucking pumped. And it was like that was the newest Trey. There wasn't like that maybe was like the first Trey run, right? The first Trey band run. I was so excited.
It was.
Live from our perspective pianos is a great idea.
Oh, that's cute. I could work on some things. I've got a few songs I could jam.
James Farley in the house. What's up, James? Nice to have you here.
James Farley.
James Farley is a vinyl community personality. I don't know James so well, but James is he's around. But nice to have you here, James. I think it may have been a stage comment that Phish kids are cool and Rome, New York burned. Okay. I think it may have been a stage comment that the Phish kids are cool and Rome, New York burned.
So Rome, New York was where the Woodstock Festival was.
Okay. The
And
Phish
maybe
kids
it
are
was
cool,
like
and Rome, New York burned.
like a comment from the stage, like by one of the band members, maybe.
Yeah, possibly.
Thank God we have
Okay, ornaments means less loops and layers. Okay, gotcha. And then he says here, Trey was whispering into the microphone. That, and I can see clearly jammed out. Sorry, I can't read. Trey was whispering into the microphone. Are we talking about the Fillmore show? Or are we talking about the?
Yeah, he's talking about Fillmore show. As that I can see clearly jam mellowed out.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah. You have to imagine
also had a shoegazer jam. I should go back and listen to those shows. I'd like to hear them. I haven't heard them since that night.
Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. And then it modulates. Someday we'll walk in the land of invention. Nice. All right, okay. What else? More comments?
That's it. That's all we got. Okay, that's good. We're caught up. Keep going.
Thanks for hanging in there with us.
Yeah, appreciate
How we
it.
roll. Talk welcome. We are digressional.
Very.
That's what our podcast is like 3 hours.
Okay, right. Borrowed tunes.
Due to the year's late start. Let's keep reading.
Hold on, here we go. Just come on. I know. Just let me pull it up because it's here. If I had I'm just too scared to like my computer should be working, but it's not. And so I'm just like, I need to get a new computer. I know, but I want to because I want to do things like this.
Okay.
And well, look at Trey over here on the right side. I do not remember that. That's crazy. Why did he think that was a good idea?
Well, yeah, stage 11. I don't know.
Why did they think that was a good idea? That's very like the bass right there in the middle of the whole thing. Interesting. Okay.
Remember, Trey was like getting into his drugs at that point. We can't imagine that any choices that were made were like going to be the best ones that the band has made. We know this because we are retrospective.
Okay, so fall, we're moving into fall 99, borrowed tunes, the Neil Young song. I'm singing this borrowed tune that I took from the Rolling Stones. Due to the year's late start, the summer and fall legs were only separated by 6 weeks, with the band's first trip to Japan further reducing the time off. But the Phish that returned in September still sounded dramatically different than its summer mode, thanks largely to the infusion of songs debuted with Tab. The adaptation wasn't seamless. Songs like Sand, First Tube, and Gotta Jaboo were written with and tailored to the steady, heavy groove strengths of Lawton and Marcellus, an approach vastly different from the preferences of Phish and Mike, for sure.
So true.
With those songs in heavy rotation and their style bleeding into the jams on Phish classics as well, fall tour was an inconsistent month of shows. The most frustrating runs, like only get somebody who'd be going there. It's like every single show and like in the muck would call a run of shows the most frustrating run since the water treading year of 1996. Split between outdoor dates in warm weather regions and more traditional autumn arenas, the band struggled to find its identity, caught between their lighter touch of the summer and the heavy sound they'd master in the winter. You take it over.
They also had One Ion recording their next album with studio time scheduled for the tour's end that would kick off the production of Farmhouse, an LP that would inherit this tour's indecisiveness. Wow, Farmhouse is indecisive?
Fuck yes, it is. Absolutely, I would say it is. That's very correct. I think.
All right. But as always, there were still moments of brilliance. Trey's 1999 sound is fetishized for a reason. His use of effects pedals, loops, and the occasional keyboard sample, fully realizing a shoegaze wall of sound he'd assembled all decade. His output, which could often involve multiplying himself many times over, constantly threatened to overwhelm the rest of the band, further tipping the scales to stage left, lookers right. But when it worked, it worked. Legendary nights in Boise, Chula Vista, and Memphis showcase his vision in its ideal form. Now, quick note to our viewers, and I think, Brian, you're really, really good at this. There is like a little listening guide in this article. So if we link the article, folks can go back in and go through Rob Mitchum's listening guide as they read the article or reread it. But that's really cool of him. All right, Winter, long distance. It's up to you.
Oh, I just boy. Okay, so this is an interesting thing. He's there. Rob Mitchum is claiming that Trey is sort of overbearing. He's overpowering the band with layers and playing keyboard, and like he might be coming somewhat insufferable to his bandmates. You know.
I think ADD plus heroin has got to be really tough to deal with in a band for your mates.
I can't help but think of I want to stop here for just a brief second. I haven't acknowledged Brian Wilson's passing since on my channel. Or Sly Stone. Sly Stone, I had a little tribute. I dedicated a little song on the piano to him. Yeah, Brian, did you have a Beach Boys moment? Did you have a Pet Sounds moment? Do you have anything that stands out? Did you see the Beach Boys before? I know this is like going off on another tangent.
That's okay. This is worth our time. So I never saw the Beach Boys, but our band plays Sail on Sailor, which is a Brian Wilson song. It's kind of a deep cut. It's a Beach Boys song. It's really fun to play, so much fun to sing along to. And I have spent time on my ukulele with God Only Knows, of course, but probably, and this is like maybe Phish, well, it is Phish related. One year, one of the festivals over the last 10 years, the Bunny Radio played a late night freak out version of God Only Knows. And they had somewhere along the way, there's an album that has just the vocal recordings and all the music taken out. And I think it was maybe Tad Cautious, and I forget the other guy's name from the Bunny Radio, but like really fun DJs. They must have been high as a kite after the show. And they played, I'll send it to you, they played this like 35-minute acid freak out God Only Knows. And I went and revisited it this year when I got back from Mexico, because I had been talking about it with my friend Cass. It's so good. So that's like the most sort of modern rendition that is so trippy that I love. But I mean, of course, the Beach Boys is like the soundtrack of my childhood, as is probably it is to most people our age, right? Like late 40s. Our parents were listening to the Beach Boys. The Beach Boys were on commercials. They were in movies. God, there was one movie that, anyway, I can't remember, but yeah, I love the Beach Boys.
They played the Tulsa Drillers Stadium. I think I don't remember if it was like every summer, but I remember like
you went. We
didn't even get. I think we went and saw them like almost every summer. I want to say like. I don't, maybe it was once, but maybe it was like 5 times. I don't remember, but we were like 11, 12, 13. We didn't even like, all we cared about was running around the stadium and meeting up with our buddies and, you know, like popping in and looking at this, you know, the Beach Boys and then being like, oh yeah, we know this, like, you know, like we knew the songs barely, but it was all about just the spectacle of the sort of summertime.
Yes.
And probably Brian Wilson was at none of those shows. It was probably Beach Boys sans Brian Wilson, but
well, he tucked himself away for a good while.
Mm-hmm. But a funny anecdote. Bobby, do you know Bobby? Bob Troop with the Border Collies, the white truck and the Border Collies.
You know? We just became friends on Facebook. He actually is training Scott and Morgan's new dog to be in a pack.
Okay, they have a Border Collie?
No, they have a sort of like a husky Malamute thing, but they got him in the mix.
So Bobby's one of my oldest buds, right? So
Morgan used to work for him on the crew.
Right. And he's like 10 years older than me, maybe 15 years older. He's a little bit older, but he was my neighbor, you know, he was my next door neighbor basically. And he came over, he's like, yo, Pete, he'd do the call, he'd be like, cuckoo, 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 and then I'd be like in the kitchen window, boo, 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 and we like, you know, that's how was our call. It was like, and he was there for a couple, anyway. He said like, hey, we're going to learn. I think it was like Sloop John B or In My Room. He was like, me and
I love
homeboy.
In My Room. That's so good.
And we're gonna sit here all summer long, and we're gonna every day at 5 o'clock, we're gonna meet here at this bench, and we're gonna sing In My Room, and you're gonna sing da 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 da, and I'm gonna sing ba da da da, and we're gonna figure this out. And we never could.
Harmony?
We tried so hard.
Well, I mean, Brian Wilson was just like a harmonic fucking genius.
Mm-hmm. I heard him talking about the other day. He's getting asked by there's a great British interviewer dude. I never remember his name. He's super famous, but I never quite remember who he is.
Graham Norton.
No, much earlier than that. He was like a rock journalist. He was like he's much more a little bit more sophisticated and classy than the Graham Norton dude. But he's kind of like a rock critic, a rock writer, and he's interviewing Brian Wilson, and Brian is talking about like you put a guitar and a piano together, and you layer it in sort of a Phil Spector way, and you don't come out the other side of that with a guitar and a piano. You come out the other side of it with a guitar piano. And he says you can do the same thing with voices. You put one voice on top of another, and you get a wobble, and the two wobbling because you can't hit the same note exactly the same two times. And you get the wobble, and you get this harmonic, and you just hear him talk about it. It's like really obvious, but it's still really beautiful and fun just to hear him talk about it. Greer, maybe that's the guy's name. Says, yeah, that could be the dude's name. I'm the bearded guy who's quite reserved, and he seems posh, but he's probably not, and he's just like very I always like his interviews. I forget what his name is, but okay. Is it your turn?
I think it is. Sorry, I was like looking for the acid freak out bunny.
It's my turn. You said here, Boise, Chula Vista, and Memphis.
Long distance.
But that's a cool little run there too. Boise, they played Chula Vista, they played Memphis. I mean, those are just like cool. I had those tapes, And it was like Memphis was like such a flavor, and Chula Vista was such, and like everyone, like Boise was like, oh, their first time in Boise, and Chula Vista was like, whoa, the Dead played here, and like Memphis is like, this is the home. Like every little thing that they went to had in Memphis they probably played, I don't know, like some BB King song or some, Elvis tune, or it was like, and I don't know, but I just love that these like obscure places like a Boise or a Chula Vista. Okay, so winter long distance and winter tour is so good. Okay, there's a great photo of Trey playing guitar here. Okay, after another shorter than usual break, Phish speed ran a circuit of shows in their traditional Eastern time zone stronghold. Well, it could have easily just been a warm-up session for Big Cypress. Ooh, on the horizon. The December tour also managed to tie together a lot of the year's disparate threads into cohesive and satisfying whole. Studio work that made the band more comfortable playing the tab material, with Sand in particular blooming into the month's signature song. Can I say this? I'll just come clean. I don't love Sand. I'm not a Sand head.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Okay, the best jams of the tour. Yeah, I'm not into Sand. Dun 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 dun. I'm just like, yeah, okay, toilet time. So that's my toilet song. That's
what?
Yeah.
You can't heal the symptom, not affect the cause.
It's just a bit repetitive for me. I have to admit, when it gets to the point where it's soaring crescendos of
you like that part. You're back from the bathroom.
I'm like, okay, I'm fine. I'm here.
Okay. I love that line. I would choose my own religion, worship my own spirit, and if he ever preached to me, I wouldn't want to hear it. I fucking love that. I get off on that like big time. I love Sand.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
The best jams of the tour. The best jam. Do you want to go? You want to take it? Or
you go. Okay. You go.
The best jams of the tour welded the sound collages of Hot Sicket Summer to the cosmic groove trances of Fall, producing passages that were nuanced in detail, but dynamic and driving enough to hold the attention of an arena crowd. It was a deliberative post-rock approach well suited for Big Cypress when the band would need to play 14 hours of music in 2 days, and it produced a series of long, heavy jams that possibly work better at home and in soundboard versus in room or via the taper section. What is he saying there? Let me pick that apart one more time.
He's saying like you should listen to it at home in your like meditative space rather than like an audience recording, or like maybe even better, like you're better off listening at home than like having been at the show is
gotcha.
What I'm getting.
That might explain the mixed opinions on this particular odd year, December, though I expect its reputation to grow with each official release. Ooh, early hot takes from Rob Mitchum. Okay. Just that you how far do we have to go? Oh, you take here, I'll go and then you take the next.
All right.
Take the last two. Okay. That just left Big Cypress the ultimate experiment in can you have too much Phish? The all night set would be the test. Would test the metal of the band. Metal, METTLE. Would test the metal. What is that? Test the metal
like
of the band.
The ability to stay present. Like metal. To test your metal is like how much you got in you, bro. Like how many days can you shit in a box? That tested my metal.
Oh, I don't know if I've ever heard this before. Okay. And the crowd alike, producing a musical monolith that still remains difficult to grapple with critically. It always felt a bit weird that December 31st, 1999 tops the Phish.net ratings for the greatest show ever. Wow, I didn't know that. Like it shouldn't compete in the same category as a two-setter at Nassau or Hampton. But while Big Cypress feels like it exists outside of normal Phish time and space, it also could have happened. It also could have happened in 1999. It also could only have happened in 1999, a year when the band was brimming with creativity, patience, and most importantly, absolute gall.
The festival turned out to be a Pyrrhic ending to Phish's astonishing 90s, an act that the band found nearly impossible to follow. Pyrrhic ending, you know that one, right? A Pyrrhic victory is when you win, but did you really?
Right. I never thought it was spelled this way, though. I thought it was like empiric. I thought it was like empirical knowledge empiric.
No, Pyrrhic. I think it's after a place name where like the Roman army won the victory,
but they lost the war.
Maybe even like Pyrenees Mountains kind of thing, because
interesting.
The elephants over the mountains and they won the war, but like everybody died. So
I lost a court case in Boulder court. I lost a court case, but the city prosecutor came and chased me out of the courtroom, and she was like, "I've never been so unsure of what the judge was going to decide. I thought you deserved to win that case, and you should practice law," she said to me. And I said,
so that was her Pyrrhic victory. Like,
no, it was my Pyrrhic. It was my Pyrrhic victory because I lost the fucking court case. But
she won, but she thought you should have won. So it was her Pyrrhic.
Okay, I thought it was my winning. I thought it was my Pyrrhic victory.
But you lost.
Okay, interesting, right?
Yeah,
but I won. So but I did win. I lost the. Okay, I gotcha. I had it backwards. Okay. All right, keep going.
Anyway, sorry. The festival turned out to be a Pyrrhic ending to Phish's astonishing 90s, an act that the band found nearly impossible to follow. There was no apocalypse waiting at the stroke of midnight on January 1st, 2000. But by the end of the year, Phish would be on hiatus, an inauspicious start to their most difficult decade. You could blame the excesses of 1999 for setting up that downfall, but it was also inevitable. A band that had spent 10 years topping themselves again and again finally hit a wall they couldn't leap. Phish had to find their breaking point before they could pull back to a sustainable long-term pace. And while it takes another quarter century of perspective to realize it, the millennial mania of 1999 was that pivotal point.
Wow, that was a great ending. That was a pretty insightful ending. I like that a lot.
I like Rob Mitchum's writing. He's like,
actually, I take it back. I do too. This is good.
Yeah, he's got this like critical insider thing, but also the points he's making are like well crafted and have a sort of subtlety to them that, like, as a long-term fucking nerd, I heart nerds, as a long time, Phish nerd, I can follow the argument. And it's interesting. He's writing all this in retrospective, and hindsight is 2020. I think, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. He's definitely got that like critic voice for sure.
Yeah, I mean, their most tumultuous decade was 2000. They didn't come back until 2000. They went away and came back and went away again until 2009, you know, and then it was kind of like shaky and then it was going again. So like you almost got to like, you know, scratch, you know, cut your losses on what am I trying to say? You know, like 90, like the whole decade was a bit of a wash. And
very
but I love the fact that like without it, you don't if you don't push the breaking point, because what does he say here? He says Phish, they kept topping. Let's see, the band had spent 10 years topping themselves again and again and again and again. Finally, till they hit a wall they couldn't leave. Now that has not changed. Phish does not stop topping themselves. They've never stopped, you know, putting the you know, nugget a little bit further and a little bit then wishing on a further and further star and going for it. I think that this is, you know, this has never gone away, but they have, I think, you know, like the Sphere is a great example. Like they had 4 nights there, right? And they had the opportunity to have 5, but they couldn't have the 5th one because it was like, we just like couldn't.
I think they probably had the opportunity to do what the Dead did and just have a residency, and they were like, nah.
No, I mean, it's been documented. What they said was that like they couldn't come up with graphics. They couldn't come up with the whole thing fast enough to have a completely unique thing. And though they were offered a 5th night, they were like, we can't. We've exhausted every bit of creative, you know, energy that we have to make the 4 that we have, and to make a 5th one, if it can't stand up to mustard against the other 4, then we'd rather not do it. And they didn't do it, and that might have taken like a you know, imploding once, you know, vaporizing once to know that like we're not gonna let's think about the sustainable long-term pace of this, you know, continually trying to outdo ourselves, which.
Well, they imploded twice.
How do you mean? You mean the hiatus and the hiatus and then the breakup?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say that those are double implosions.
Yeah. I would say they're kind of one and the same, to be honest. But
yeah, but it happens over like a 4-year, you know,
2-year, doesn't it? Kind of, isn't it kind of like
so they end in 2000. We end in Shoreline.
Right.
Then they come back. They play 2003, 2004. Then they break up. And then we don't.
I wonder.
It's kind of like it's like the little rumble before the big earthquake. You might feel that a few years before, and then like fucking shit hits the fan, and you got a tsunami, right? Like, to use a Japanese metaphor.
Yeah, I just like Steve Jobs says the thing, you know, in the Stanford speech, you can never connect the dots moving forward. You can only connect them going, you know, looking back. And you can look back at this and you can be like, oh, it makes perfect sense that it happened, but it only, you know, with the hindsight available to you that you can say that. But I do feel like, I mean, would you trade anything for anything? You know, Trey talks about it was like the best day of his life, you know, getting arrested and thrown in the slammer, you know, kind of. And it was for all of us.
I mean, the answer is no. You can't go back and trade it out, right? Like, that's not how it works, even though we are incredibly imaginative as humans and like wish ourselves and write ourselves and poem ourselves and film ourselves into these what if realities. But no, we can't, which is
Tuck's got an interesting take on here. I'm going to come back to your comment for you, but he says 2.0 feels more like a coda for 1.0 than its own thing. That's what I was trying to say.
I really agree with that. That's a great metaphor. What did 4D Man say?
He says, tempted to, you read it. You can read it.
Tempted to edit Rob Mitchum, arrogant as that sounds, in the interest of what makes prose work even better. I may try that in the comments. Rob Mitchum will never find me. What the hell? Yeah, edit his ass, 4D Man. You have really distinct thoughts on writing, so I'm here for that. You know, I'll comment back to you. I always want to write more And then you can't edit after you post on the YouTube comments, and I get a little frustrated. So I usually am just like cursory in those comments, but I really enjoy reading what you post for D-Man.
Okay, well, is that it? That's it for the 25. So this is a recent piece, right? 20. Wait, I thought we were reading these chronologically backwards. How did you
okay,
this?
so our next article is Ghosts of Yet to Come.
So wait, that was the title of that piece was Revisiting Phish's Transformative 1999, looking at 25 years later. So that puts us at 2024, 2025, right? So yeah, interesting that he's going back and like looking at his own works. Anyway,
I think that this is his sort of essay assignment he's giving himself. But in this next one, Ghosts of Yet to Come, we're looking at 5/22/2000, New York City, Radio City Music Hall. But he's looking back, and the article will set this up in the first paragraph. He's looking back at it after the New Yorker article comes out.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So this is interesting for us because episode 1, we read the New Yorker article in its entirety. That was our impetus that kicked off our podcast and why we read Icculus.
So 5/22/2000, Radio City. So they played Radio City in 2000 before
maybe 2 nights.
Okay, interesting.
I don't know. I didn't go.
Have you been there? Surely you've been to Radio City
I have seen the Christmas show. I've seen the Rockettes. They all fall down. I've been to Radio City Music.
Okay.
Hall before.
I went and saw Neil Young's
child growing up outside of the city.
You went there as a child several times?
Yeah.
Okay, lucky. Very cool. Yeah, we saw Neil Young doing the Greendale, I think it was called, like this kind of bizarre.
Radio City?
Yeah.
When was that?
Maybe like 99-ish.
Who was we?
Me and Stacy.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
Stacy's child made me coffee when I was in Portland. Has your son made you the coffee yet?
I did. I drank it all. I want to ask. Oh no, I didn't. I still have some left. Yeah.
That's kind of cute. Oh, that's awesome. Wow.
Well, but I just those curtains and those what do you call those? The shape of this face is so beautiful.
It's got that sort of like lush edge of deco. It's sort of somewhere between like
how old is it? It's got to be. Is it 100 years old?
Over for sure. I'll look it up real quick.
Radio City.
Radio Music Hall.
Showplace of the showplace of the nation.
Oh, so you know what? It's not quite 100 years old. Opened December 27th, 1932. So we are in that sort of deco world. Architect Edward Durrell Stone is part of Rockefeller Center. You can call them at 212-465-6000. And it is nicknamed the Showplace of the Nation. It is also the headquarters for the Rockettes.
It's pretty cool.
Avenue of the Americas. Yeah.
Yeah, Avenue of the Americas with all the giant sort of, huge.
All the flags and things. Yeah.
What a space. Okay. Shall I start?
Yeah, why don't you?
Okay. Ghosts of Yet to Come by Robert Mitchum. And we've set it up that established it's coming out after the New Yorker piece. Okay, so we're looking here at a photo of the band. My ink has run out of my.
I know mine is orange. Yours is yellow, but that's
the actual picture. I think is green. Okay, so the band's going to be playing 2 nights here. We think in May of the year 2000, and the set 1 opener is "My Soul." Mama, it's my soul. It's my soul.
Don't like My Soul.
Who doesn't like My Soul?
Fucking this other podcast, dude. I won't call it all the way out, but I fucking love My Soul.
Who doesn't love
I am here for Trey Blues Jam soloing. I fucking love that song so much. I can't believe people are like, ugh, my soul. I think it's so much fun.
I feel guilty having forsaken sand on the last article. I feel guilty about it.
I'm gonna pour one out for your fucking shitting on sand with the Japanese.
I admitted that I came back and I love it in the end, but I don't love a sand.
It's okay. Listen, we don't all have to love all the things.
Yeah.
As long as you're done with your pee to come back when it goes out 25 minutes and you get lost somewhere.
It's derivative of first tube, I feel. That's my issue with it.
Well, it's the Tony Marcalis Russ.
Yeah, that's kind of what I don't. Cheers. It's kind of that's what I don't really love. But okay, there's probably lots of songs that are like that. Okay, then so we've got My Soul, which is the sound checker.
I won this in Frick Frack Blackjack. I didn't even tell you about my character Willie, but we can talk about that when I finish my whiskey.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm curious about Willie. Okay, then you have Chalk
Very inappropriate.
Takes it up a notch. Billy Breathes brings it down. Heavy Things. A farmhouse that to that point, like an indecisive farmhouse. This is one of those songs. Heavy Things doesn't know if it should be on Farmhouse or not be on Farmhouse.
It's so interesting. I need to do a re-listen and see if I agree with that. So while I don't have my phone, but I have Spotify on my computer, maybe I'll do that as well as play piano. And then
I think Farmhouse is the least decisive album of them all. I don't know, but that for certainly for one,
it doesn't hit like the others, so I could be with you on that.
Okay, then Back on the Train, which no complaints. Split Open and Melt, which I feel like is Trey's. Like, what should we play? Like, I don't know what the next song is. Let's play Split. Or not. That's not. What I'm thinking of first tube. I'm thinking of Tube, not first tube. But I'm thinking of Tube. Too many tubes. But Split Open.
Tube.
Okay, anyway, I'll keep going here. Then Sparkle, Love Me a Sparkle. Horn, one of my all-time favorites. I fucking love Horn. That one's got a lyric in it. Rhine wine. That's a weird lyric, right? Rhine wine.
Thank you, Tom Marshall.
What is that about, right? And then the first set closer, Bathtub. Second set opener with Bouncing into David Bowie, Sand, Mango Song. That's got to be fun. And then a Ghost, probably Ghost at Radio City has got to be a wonderful.
I think there's actually in this article a YouTube link to the Ghost. I think it's quite celebrated.
And then Rock and Roll has got to be.
God, what
Velvet Underground? Velvet Underground.
Rock and Roll. I haven't heard Phish play Velvet Underground in too long. Too long, my friend.
That's the show.
Cool it down this summer.
Okay. Oh, and then Encore, you've got a Bug. There's another one, Bug and Golgi. I saw
nothing I see can be taken from me.
Bug evolved. I feel like a lot. One of the most evolved songs. It changed like 10 times. I feel like. Then you have like, is it a wind or a bug? Where'd that song go? Is it a wind or a bug?
Yeah.
Where is that one going?
Well, I think Tony Marcalis might have sang that in Tab. Wind or a Bug.
Okay. Well, we should get that one on fit. I want to hear a wind or a bug. I like that tune.
Windora Bug.
Windora. Okay. So you can listen to this article too if you want to, I guess. As maybe there's a narration. I'm not sure.
I thought for a little bit he was like, listen, I've enjoyed the
could be. We'll read it like that. Listen. Oh, listen up, everybody. Listen. I've enjoyed the recent run of Phish prestige magazine profiles. Ooh, okay. Even if they were not written for people like me, and most likely you.
True.
But GQ, which we also read, and the New Yorker mostly followed the same beats.
Yeah.
With a skeptical at first writer, slowly won over by fan devotion, band earnestness, and the endless storytelling depths of Phish's lore and longevity.
Hold on. There is an asterisk.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to the bottom of the article, and his note is, to my delight, both former Pitchfork colleagues.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So Amanda and whoever wrote the GQ article.
Okay, so they were Pitchfork people who were like scoffing at Phish all this time, and then
I guess Rob Mitchum must have been or is currently Pitchfork writer as well. Sorry, I'm so itchy. I'm like recovering from my bug bites.
When I say Robert Mitchum is like, I could be mistaken, but I think I have some like Andy Gaddiel prints from like 1996 that say on them somewhere Rob Mitchum. I think I've read his name. That's why I'm thinking I've known.
There's a spider. Sorry,
spiders are good.
No, I know, but he just came down from the fucking.
That's okay. Let him be.
Sorry, guys. This is like my super girl moment in the vinyl community. Okay, he's gone.
Okay. So
what if he eats me? Oh no.
He's not going to eat you. He's going to eat the bugs that will eat you.
Oh my God, it makes me itchier. All right, go begin again.
Okay. Listen, I've enjoyed the recent run of Phish prestige magazine profiles, even if they were not written for people like me and most likely you. But both GQ and the New Yorker mostly follow the same beats, with a skeptical at first writer slowly won over by fan devotion, band earnestness, and the endless storytelling depths of Phish's lore and longevity. And both were written for an audience that had likely heard of this weird hippie band, but hadn't really investigated why they were still around and even knocking on the door of Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Respectability? For that Phish curious crowd, I thought they were excellent primers on what makes Phish such a special band, and can anecdotally report that it got a few of my hater friends to give them another shot, results pending. And they both contained just enough nuggets to keep us sickos happy.
Agree.
Like the fact that Kevin Shapiro is just sitting on some transferred tapes of Big Cypress. Yes, that was intriguing. And the Mondegreen secret set and maybe others had planned out key changes and energy levels, or that Trey was inspired by seeing Fugazi in 1989. Also telling. That was a fun little. And also the fact that he was on the same bill as the Beastie Boys at some point. He said like, "Oh, we're the same one." Was that the Fugazi reference or the Beastie Boys?
Yeah.
Okay, take it away.
All right.
But for me,
the most exciting parts are when the band, well, usually Trey, talks about specific jams. It was very gratifying that Trey selected the 71099 Chalk Dust, which was just referenced in the last article. This was the Camden Chalk Dust, as a guide to the magic of Phish improvisation, since that was my pick for similar purposes. The singling out of the Tahoe Tweezer and the Alpine Ruby Waves as pivotal moments in the band's modern era also tracks nicely with online discourse and my own personal ears. Phish doesn't usually get so specific when they talk about their live performances, which is smart. You don't really want the magician to reveal their tricks. That goes for full shows too. Apart from the final 4 live Phish CD releases selected by Mike, they fully delegated the curated trickle from their archives to Shapiro. I assume that also goes for the recent LP on LP series of highlight jams released on vinyl. There's a double asterisk for this one.
What's that one?
That the very first installment was that same Alpine Ruby Waves. Maybe there's some band input.
The double asterisk, which I gotta say, I don't really see the point of. Who wants to have to flip a record in the middle of a 30-minute jam? Vinyl is just not a jam band medium, man, he says. I agree. I bought the first 2, for FOMO reasons, but I didn't buy the next 4. I'm like, I don't want to break up a Tahoe Tweezer
LP.
Yeah, I'm just it's cool, but I saw them. They're getting resold on the secondary market for less than what they were originally retailed for.
The jam is just like stops at the end of the edge of the.
It fades out and then it fades back in. Yeah.
That's weird. I mean,
know. Actually, on a live one, it does it on like Yem or Hood or something. It does the same thing. It's like, yeah, it's a little.
I mean, I don't know this. Certainly, your peeps do, but like, how long is a standard like press wax record?
I want to say, I think a side is like 20 minutes. So yeah.
All right.
You get a song like that Ruby Waves, I think was like 40 minutes.
Yeah, I think it was. And I mean,
So
the Tahoe Tweezer, I think is 38 minutes.
Yeah, you can't fit 30 minutes on the side of a record. You can, but you lose fidelity, and yeah, you have to have the spaces have to have grooves, and there's more grooves on the outside than there are in the center, right?
Oh yeah. It's just like that's like math. Yeah, I got you.
So if the grooves get too tight, so a lot, I get it's kind of interesting side note. Like when they made records, when they tracked records like forever ago, the quality of the sound quality, the fidelity of the music is like lower when it's closer to the label and to the spindle than it is on the outside.
Is that why people like 45s, because it's more consistent? Or
That's a good, I don't know. I don't think but maybe it could be. I'm not sure really what the thought on that is. I don't really know. Somebody will know.
Yeah.
But I think I just know that like there's consideration that's made where it's like, oh, this is the first song this should be the first song on side one, this should be the first song on side two, and this should be the last one. This is
like a real banger sound wise. Real quick, just talking about Tahoe Tweezer and the sort of length of a thing. Do you know this woman, Holly Bowling? Have you checked her out?
Can't say I have.
She's like the Steve Vai of Phish, whereas like Steve Vai transposed all of like the Zappa stuff and then joined the band. So Holly Bowling transcribed for solo piano the Tahoe Tweezer.
Oh yeah, I've seen, she plays in the desert. Yeah, I've seen her before.
Yeah,
she's amazing.
So she has a record of the Tahoe Tweezer, and what comes with the vinyl is like a pullout in the record that is like 40 pages of the transposed sheet music.
Wow.
It is fucking insane.
I want to get that.
You should totally get it. It's
so that's cool.
My bandmate Linda, who plays keys in our band, we went to see Holly Bowling, and like we went and fangirled her. And Linda got the Tahoe Tweezer, and we pulled out the sheet music. It's like a thick booklet. It's probably 40 pages of composition.
Wow.
I can read music if I really think about it and spend a lot of time. Do you read music?
Barely. Much worse than half as good as that. But yes, if I concentrate and like slowly, I can read it. But
yeah, even like just reading like what key are we in notation is really difficult. I tried to learn reading the sheet music, Watermelon in the Easter Hay on piano.
I don't know that.
Yeah, you do. It's a Frank Zappa song. And
I don't know if I know that one.
I'm sure you do. I'll send you a little track. But anyway, I didn't accurately read the key, so I was like playing it backwards and like in the wrong key. It wasn't working. I was like, I don't get it. But that's the last thing I tried to read.
Hold on, we have another tuck. Is it the same tuck? There's two tucks.
Yeah, tuck is the same tuck.
Okay, Farmhouse as an album has music from 3 years. Twist and Piper debuted in Europe in 97. Driver, which Driver maybe never made it on to Farmhouse. It's like was a bonus track, I think. It came on the Japanese CD and on the new release. But I don't think it was on the original one. Yeah. And other acoustic songs feel even more like real songs than those two from 97. 6 tracks from 99. Yeah, exactly what I.
Yeah, so it's kind of like stitched together.
Yeah, it's just not there.
That's really interesting.
It's forced. It's a forced record, I feel like. Where just like Billy Breeze.
They have cluster flies, alas. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, there's a couple, but it's a little discombobulated, I feel like. To edit your YouTube comment, click 3 dots on the side. Okay, you can edit your comment. Okay, there you go.
Thank you.
Hey, there's 8 of you watching. There's 2 people commenting. There's 6. That means 6 of you are lurking. Who are you? 6. Leave it. Let us know who you are. Leave a comment.
Yeah, no judgment. We are all love here. Maybe it's I had posted that we were going to do this in Phish Book. I posted it on Colorado Phish Chicks. And
wow, good on you. Thank you.
And I posted it on my Facebook page. So yeah, we would love to know who you are. No judgment. You do have to have, I think, Yeah, same Tuck, different browser. I love it.
I think
Tuck, I'm so glad you're still with us. I hope you're enjoying our
mad respect.
Our sort of what circuitous and roundabout article reading.
Yes.
It's about the camaraderie. All right.
Respect. Okay.
Let's get on with it, right? But maybe there's something. I'll continue and then you go
Please
on.
Do. Okay.
I bring it up now because of those first 4 jams pressed to wax. The only 1.0 representative is tonight's Ghost. This was not a huge upset, as the Radio City Ghost has long had its banner hung in the fan favorite Hall of Fame. That's a cool metaphor. But the official endorsement still means something, particularly as the only selection to date that wasn't from an already released show in a series with such a heavy recency bias. Interesting. And I will just say, I don't know if you can turn your screen, Bri, to show the poster, but this high heel, yeah, perfect. This high heel Phish shoe.
Yeah, I remember this was on a t-shirt. I remember seeing this all over the place.
So there is, I can't, it might have been Givenchy, French designer from like the 30s, who made this very avant-garde pair of shoes that were Phish shoes. And I will find the picture at some point and I'll send it to you. I have it saved as like something I want to make a sticker out of at some point. But I feel like this poster is a little bit of an ode to a design from the 30s, just for you fashionistas out there.
Hold on, I got a fashionista one too for you. Hold on.
Oh, do you? Yes.
Yeah. There's a gal in
New York City.
In Japan. She's a riot. She's kind of an acquaintance of mine. You're gonna love these. Let me share this. Oops. She is this really sardonic designer who is like super serious and so comedic in the same breath. It's hilarious. She makes these pigeon shoes.
What? Oh my God.
Those are right. And they like the pigeons don't know what to make of them.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
She's
got a bunch of them. She's got like all
I lived in New York City, I would totally want those shoes.
Right,
no, what I'm talking about, and maybe you should just Google search it real quick.
Okay.
Phish shoe designed by Andre Perugia, 1930.
Andre Perugia.
Rugia. Phish shoe. Just so fucking cool. Look at the images.
I found them.
Right? So that's what the poster really does remind me of.
Those are pretty cool.
Aren't those fucking crazy? I thought it
was... There he is, Andre Perugia.
Perugia might be, I wonder if he's Italian?
For sure.
Perugia. I know, they're so wild. All right, anyway, back to it. Quick, like, side note on foot fetish. Fish fetish.
Okay, I bring it up now. Okay, so it's me. Yeah, so what is he saying here? Okay, so it's the only one. What is he saying in this one? It's the only 1.0 representative is the Ghost. Okay, there's 6 of them so far. So I think there's only one.
The Ghost is the only thing that wasn't released on some prior.
That makes me want to go get it, to be honest. I'm like, ooh, I should get that.
Well, you'll have to turn it over halfway through the jam. So
is it or what's on B-side B? Because they're not all like that. It might be a 20-minute Ghost, and there might be something fun on the other side of it.
I don't know. We'll find out. Let's keep reading.
But the official endorsement is okay. All right, here we go. Because the context of that younger company recasts the role that the Radio City Ghost plays. Because the context of that younger company. Who are they talking about? The younger company.
I think that this is like the live Phish versus the LP on LP.
Okay, because the context of that younger company recast the role that the Radio City Ghost plays in Phish's long timeline, I've always thought it was a very good jam. No contrarian hot takes here.
Wow.
But it never really struck me as an era-defining one. I don't even know. I've never even heard about it. perhaps due to the truncated nature of the post-Cypress Phish. God, I can't fucking read.
No, the punctuation in this paragraph is kind of weird, actually.
Okay, it took a long time for the version's influence to spread as compared to the immediate impact of its Denver 97 forefather.
All right, so here's what I think they're saying, right? There was like the live Phish release of Denver 97 that is probably came out closer to 97 than this 2000 Ghost Jam, this particular release. And
okay. Well, I mean, they've already released the 90s. They've already released the 97 Ghost, so it doesn't really make sense to like press that to wax or redo it if it's already been out there once. I guess it's enlightening to listen to those two bookends back to back. The Denver Ghost crackles with the raw zooming energy of discovering a new jamming style.
So good.
I gotta hear it again. And we were there, right? And it
we were there.
Set the template for the next couple of years, with the funk sections forming a tight coil that explodes in hard rock geysers. The Radio City Ghost, by contrast, is a smoothly polished stone, restrained and fluid. Some of the moves they were giddily exploring in fall 97 are now second nature. Oh, that's an interesting notion. And you can hear how far they've developed and how much more potential there still is to mine, even if it took several years to pay off. That's an interesting take right there. Okay, so now that's the tempered Phish that I keep talking about, that we keep talking about. It's the tempered, mature, we're here for the long haul, guys. We're not coming out of the gates just blazing guns. It's like we got to come out and we're playing here for keeps. And I'm willing to make that trade. I'm definitely willing to make that trade.
It's interesting when at the beginning of the show, when you were having technical difficulties in the first article I was reading, and I did a little sort of solo digression, talking to myself, I suppose, and our small but mighty audience about how the idea of the long game is really, I think, what Phish is about. And all the, like, I was saying it in the context of like, this is improvisation, people. Brian's gone, but he'll come back, and this is what we do. And we just kind of like work on it in the moment. And I think that from an improvisational standpoint, maybe even with like the live Phish recordings or how people interpret the discography as it's released, there is this sense of the long game and the retrospective of looking back, kind of to your point about that Steve Jobs quote, connecting the dots while you look backwards. You can't do it looking forward. So
through the process of doing this Ghost of the Forest video that I was on my mind for a really long time, I went back and I rewatched Between Me and My Mind.
Yeah.
And I also like read like 5 articles that were written around the time of its making, and which was only 2019, and they're kind of between. What are they between? They're between The Baker's Dozen and Casvat Vox is when the Story of the Ghost comes out, and we've touched on it here, but there's a couple of quotes in there where all the guys, all of them in their unique way, are saying, I'm just pinching myself that I get to be with these guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't. I just like every day. It's a blessing that I get. I was like, you look at all these rock stars who are just, I don't know. I guess maybe there are some examples
playing with their bandmates in curmudgeonly attitudes.
They can't be in the same room together. And they can't, it's like, I just feel bad.
That might be the story of Ween's demise. I mean, yeah.
Oh, I don't know what's going on with Ween, but they've been through a lot, I'm sure. I know they're like kind of breaking up and getting back together and breaking up again. That's got to be one dysfunctional relationship. I mean, they have the two, The Beatles always said that. I mean, like when they went and met Elvis, they felt so bad for him because he didn't like have any buddies, but like any buddies.
Really? I didn't.
They had a whole bunch of hanger-oners, but the Ringo says it like where he's like, after I met Elvis, I felt so grateful that I had the 3 other guys that I could always, keep me in check. And like, you know, if I went a little bit too this way, they kind of like push me back. And, you know, like I was just so happy that I had the lads, and like Elvis, he just didn't have anybody.
No, he didn't. That's probably why he peanut butter and baconed himself into early death. I'm sorry, I'm not laughing. All right, I'm gonna go.
Your turn, yeah.
As we discussed a lot in 1997, the real killer app of cowfunk was that it unleashed Phish democracy, the genre providing a way for Trey to step back on rhythm and let the others contribute ideas without resorting to gimmicks like the mini percussion kit. The 1990s style, oddly, slid back into that strategy with Trey's synthesizer, a gambit that paid off occasionally, but mostly walled Trey off in an isolation booth of effects, while the other three were abandoned to vamp among themselves. Walled off Trey, stage left, in an isolation booth. In tonight's Ghost, again, we're 5/22/2000. In tonight's Ghost, he again turns to the keys, but they successfully avoid that improvisational dead end. The bulk of the credit goes to Mike, whose bass is essentially the lead instrument for the majority of the jam. And we've talked about this before. That's really what's going on now in Phish, is that Trey can just, you know, like really put the ego aside. He's old enough, he's experienced enough. Sit back, fucking vamp some cool ass rhythm that's very late 90s sounding, and Mike can just fucking wheel a deal with all his cool shit. I mean, he's driving a good amount of the time. And I think that that's so much of like the freshness of the sound right now, is like hearing Mike up in the mix, really taking it around. And then you hear Fishman and Trey really playing rhythmically. And then we've talked about like the role of the piano, kind of like stitching together certain like sort of worlds of the music. So it's really interesting to hear this retrospective on a 2000 show in a way that we're hearing Phish these days, right?
Super cool. I think we talked about, like, Mike talks about the quack tone. I don't know what it is, but he talks about the quack tone. And now he's got, and now we talk about the Jedi tone from Trey. Me and Michael talk about the Jedi tone. I don't know if the Jedi tone is out there.
It's a pedal. It says Jedi.
Oh, okay. So it is a thing, right? Yeah. I forgot. Yeah. But like the Jedi, when I hear it, It's like I can't. It's very distinguishable.
Oh, right? I want to know what that is. I don't know what that is.
Oh, really? It's this really crazy. It's like electronica sounding. It's luscious, deep. It's when it's when the guitar turns to the bass, and the bass turns to the guitar. It's where they swap spots.
I want to come on the dog log and listen and do some analysis with you guys.
Yeah, you should. I mean, I don't know but we have our own lengths. We have and you could probably, we should all do it. In fact, anybody who wants to come participate, we have another little secret world. It's a little clubhouse where we all hang out. And if you're just so inclined, it's only open to those on the level. And if you're really want to, and it's invite only, and it's very, I don't want to say exclusive, but it is.
I know you want to go on.
You gotta, know the secret handshake. And if you want to learn it, then send me a text, and I will.
Secret handshake.
I will send it back to you. I'll send you back the secret handshake code.
All right. Let me finish the paragraph.
Keep going.
Okay. Mike, whose bass is essentially the lead instrument for the majority of the jam, he's got practice. There's an interesting Bowie intro at the top of the set where Mike undercuts Bowie Fest with a long bluegrassy solo. Here, the bassist is absolutely locked in with Phish, which helps keep the momentum up as Trey starts to fiddle with his knobs.
It's so insulting.
He said fiddle with his knobs.
Okay. Then it's the 7-minute mark in a surprise swerve. Trey painfully yields the synth.
No, partially, not painfully.
Sorry. Then Trey partially yields the synth floor to his pal on the other side of the stage, shifting to quiet funk chords while Page unfurls spaceship buzzes and whirs. And shockingly, the guy who gets paid to play keyboards immediately does a better job of it than the guy who is mostly there to play guitar. Page's synth fantasia is so much fuller and more expressive than Trey's favorite chintzy presets. Wow. Pushing the jam forward instead of sending it around a cul-de-sac.
Wow.
The ensuing groove, I know, God, it's pretty, yeah, it's pretty deep cut there.
Yeah.
The ensuing groove is shrink wrap tight, but icy and discreet. They're no longer dorks throwing a dance party. They're almost cool. That's great. They're almost cool. Is Robert Mitchum cool? Is Robert Mitchum? I didn't picture I keep saying Robert Mitchum. Does he go by Robert Mitchum?
He goes by Rob.
Okay. Does Rob Mitchum, is he cool? I don't picture a cool guy, but suddenly I'm thinking, oh, maybe he's actually supremely cool.
He's like coolest. Lester Bangs, you know. He's
like Mark Maron.
The house. Yeah. He's like on Pitchfork with his mates on like some Slack channel.
Yeah, Lester Bangs. I wonder if there's like that's the level, right?
He could be the Lester Bangs of Phish writing. We don't know yet. We have to read more. We're just skimming the surface. This dude has hundreds of essays.
Trey's chintzy. What does he say here? Trey's chintzy
favorite chintzy presets. Ow! Fucking burn, Rob. I mean, I feel bad when I say like some like critical shit about Trey, which I do, but I feel bad, and he's just
we all do. Troy Pistachio, you know, Big Red. He's
throw it on out.
He's the ultimate dork of them all, really.
All right, keep reading though. This is great.
I think it's okay. After a brief return to the main Ghost theme at 13:45, you'd expect this jam to either fizzle out or explode into hard rock fireworks. But the back half is almost melancholy, the band arriving at a minor key chord progression that contrasts against the still danceable beat. Once again, it's Mike in the captain's chair, soloing for large chunks of it while Trey stabs away at the heartbreaking theme that Page embellishes on piano. Eventually, Trey switches to arpeggios, but they cling to the bittersweet mood for much longer than you'd expect, fainting at a breakout at 23 minutes. But instead of shrinking down even further to a coda, but instead shrinking down to even further to a coda filled with melodic miniatures.
Melodic miniature. It makes me want to listen to this jam.
I know. I want to hear all these.
I can't say that I am familiar with this recording.
No, I'm not either.
All right. It is a rightly revered jam and a singular one. Its sound is not at all like what comes to mind when I think of 2000, the next couple weeks of international travel aside. Because Phish is going to go fucking
Japan.
Rocks off Japan on mushrooms at Fukuoka. But revisiting it today, it feels more familiar. In fact, it feels a lot like the other jams selected for the LP on LP series. The atmospheric, unhurried pace echoes the Bethel Wave soundcheck. Oh my God. I've listened to that 50 billion times.
Oh,
have you heard it?
I can't say I have, no.
Oh my God. A Bethel Wave soundcheck is so fucking insane. I think it's from 2012 or something. And
what's so hot about it?
It is so... It really is a narrative. It has a narrative arc that is story-like. It has these sort of swirls and eddies of melodies. It changes. I have done stretching yin yoga, restorative yoga to that track 200 times. I'll put my legs up the wall and reset my vagus nerve for like the whole of the recording. I think it's like 24 minutes. It is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful piece of music.
2011, it looks like maybe.
Or 2011. It's so good. You need to listen to it, Brett. That's what they should put on the LP on LP series. Okay,
I'm looking at this is the worst, I want to say the worst fashion era of. This is Mike's
2011 before Mike cuts his hair and like gets his cool.
Yeah. They're all wearing black on stage. Okay. Paige has got a black t-shirt on. Trey's got it's bad.
Well, it's a sound check. Paige would have.
Oh, it's okay. Okay, fair enough.
He would have changed into his little monkey button down. All right.
Wow, how did this show come to be like so known?
I think somebody must have recorded it, and certainly like Gary, if he was doing the recording stuff at that point, must have recorded it. I'm sure they record every sound check. But I don't know. It's on YouTube, and I've listened to it 200 times. It is so good.
Here's one of the comments. I only listen to this twice a day. I've weaned it.
Let's hear it. What are the comments on the YouTube video?
I only listen to this twice a day. I've weaned myself down from 4.
Yeah, it's so good. It is like, it has so many interesting movements, and then it comes back at the end. Bum, 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 bum,
absolutely beautiful, unbelievable. This is something else. Okay, a wave for all ages. What a legend. This is majestic Phish. All right,
it's so gorgeous, and there's no audience, which is what I think makes it.
That's interesting.
Really,
Gordon this is so sick. Gordon is driving this thing.
It's so good. You have to listen to it, Brian. And
I got it queued up right here.
To this ghost. All right, let me try and finish this paragraph here.
I think the article. This is the last bit.
All right, the atmospheric unhurried pace, and this is of the Ghost, 2005-22, echoes the Bethel Waves sound check, which again would happen 11 years later. The fluid movements between bespoke themes recalls the Alpine Ruby waves. The role of Page's synthesizer in shaping the mood aligns with the Deer Creek simple. More broadly, it doesn't so much feel like breaking new ground as a refinement, an execution of what Phish does best that sounds effortless, but is built on an astonishing framework and history of practice. The defining sound of 3.0, 4.0, whatever 0.0 we're currently in. The Radio City Ghost feels like a modern era Phish jam over a decade ahead of its time, a keystone fit for a vinyl series or a magazine profile.
Goosebumps. Okay, I'm buying it. I know where one is. I saw one.
Goosebumps too. That's so funny. It's really nice to read an article, particularly on Tokyo Record Style, where your audience is very vinyl related. The VC, the vinyl community.
You're one of us now.
It's a neat Venn diagram article for particularly.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it to be like that. It's an interesting take on it. It's like looking at it, is comparing it to, it's thinking of it in vinyl context. It's thinking about it in like Phish historical context, like in a timeline context. It's looking at it in like a bandmates dynamic context. Is really interesting. I like that article a lot. It's quite interesting. The ghost of yet to come. Okay, I wondered. It has a
little Ghost of the Forest ish.
No. I was thinking of who's the Charles Dickens. It's got a ghost of yet to come, right? It's
like a ghost of Christmas past.
Yes, it's the ghost of Christmas future. The ghost of yet to come. Interesting. This is the future that holds for you. This is what the future holds for you, Phish, in 2011. The Ruby Waves, the Tahoe Tweezer. What was it? The chalk dust. The Camden chalk dust.
Yeah,
that was 99. That was
No, but it's all dots that are connected in retrospective, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I'm
so I gotta go get that. That's on like some nicely not even splatter vinyl. They do it that one. I don't think.
Oh, I have one of the Phish splatter vinyls. Should I get it? Should I show you?
Yeah, let's see.
I have the smallest vinyl collection, but hold on.
All right, go get it.
Okay.
I think they did the these are not done in that kind of. These aren't done in that splatter. I don't think, but I think they're nice.
Okay. So here is my.
Oh, you have one of those. I only have the lowly black version.
Showing for the VC.
Okay, nice, Ann. Hold on, let's make you big. Hold on, let's.
Big.
Dang,
Sorry about
Ann's showing records on. Oh,
right,
hold on, I got to screenshot that.
First one. This is Slip, Stitch, and Pass, which I think is a collection from like Europe tour, right?
Yeah.
And the wax is fucking cool. Here's some photos.
Wait, who are these? Are the guys we don't even know? This is like, yeah. Who's that? They've vlogged up.
Sure.
Oh, I've got a really. That's Storm Thurgeson. That's the same guy who did the cover of Dark Side of the Moon. The same guy who did a bunch of like all the famous records from the 60s. I love this picture of Phish. I love this picture. It's the coolest.
Now we get to the real deal. Now, don't yell at me how I hold the vinyl, young people out there.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Okay, that's a beauty. She's nice. She looks like an exotic fish.
And then I think the other one might be orange. Let me grab that out real quick. Don't yell at me.
You have an orange one? No, she's doing fine.
Records, vinyl community.
I have that, but it's black. You know what, Ann? I learned something about that record. Oh, yeah, very nice.
Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, is this Slip, Stitch, and Pass might be something from Germany?
I think it's a collection of, it's like Europe 72. It's like from a handful of shows. It's not from the same show. It might be Amsterdam if it's anything. I know the cities, I think, is from Amsterdam, but I think
love these Phish. I want this.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Or something.
Yeah.
I can go Fishman. He got his nails done. He was like pulling a Mike Gordon before Mike used to do his nails.
Yeah. Well, hold on, the back, the Phish at the back, the image on the back. I like this. Like, that song makes me think of On Our Way Home. We thought we had a chance to review the curves before the and doing by the good hands. That looks like they're on a train, traveling across Europe. And like Mike's got the Trey, I think, is still wearing Reeboks, maybe, or he's wearing the Vans or something. Like Mike's in the Reeboks, and Phish has got like some cool jeans on.
It looks like he's wearing Doc Martens, actually.
Trey is?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
I can tell by the soul. Fishman's got his gazelles. Paige is actually wearing some fucking Vans, dude. Mike is definitely in his Reebok era.
Yeah, that's a great photo. That's
so really recorded cool by photo. Paul Languedoc.
Really? Okay, that's cool.
John Sickett at Bearsville Studio in 1997. And then
there's a comment here from Tuck. He says it's Hamburg the night Mike. Okay, it's Hamburg. The whole show is Hamburg.
Yeah, I thought it was Germany.
Oh, yeah. Really? I did. We should know this stuff. Okay, it's Hamburg the night Mike tries a different bass per a fan's request.
What?
It's the night that Mike tries a different bass per a fan's request. Okay, small club, fantastic fans. New sound, big night. I thought it was a truck. Because are you sure about that? I thought it was like over the course of a few shows.
Tuck knows his Phish.
He knows his Phish. Okay.
He's
got another couple comments here. 1.0 Fisher.
Fucking head.
Okay. That is well, I'm a Tuck. FYI, I haven't seen a show since 2000, like 2004, 3. I've been on couch tour for 20 years, living in Tokyo, where I live. 1.0 Phish offered music morphine at the speed of life. 1.0 Phish offered music morphine at the speed of life. Type 2 jams, 92 to 94. Songs got simpler and jamming got dialed in. Yeah, in a good way and in a sort of way that I sort of missed. I missed the old way. By Cypress, Phish was only jamming on a pulse and a pitch. Still are. What is that? That's an interesting take.
Like in a 1-2, they're ready to change it up because they are sort of like psychic and really good listeners of one another. That's
offered music morphine at the speed of life. What is the speed of life? Fast or slow? Type 2. Wow, I need a little more context there. 92 to 94 songs got simpler.
This is why you guys should have Tuck on the dog log.
Yeah, Tuck, come up. You come up and be a guest sometime. You want to come up now? I mean, we're actually. I gotta. My son's like side eyeing me. He's like,
I know, and we're 2 hours and 36 minutes. Yeah, come on, kid, make daddy some coffee.
No. I gotta get out of here.
Any more comments?
Yeah, great sound check was the one, and 40 Man is feeding the squirrels while watching. So technically, there are about 7 more viewers than the YouTube numbers Racket show. And the Racket knows about too. Okay. Well, and we saved the Japan. It's cool. We queued up Japan for the next.
Both of us right now. I can only see me.
Oh, whoops.
I want to see your face before we sign off. Yeah, I was gonna say I think we should save the Japan for its own. Like our next episode should be I think it's 3 articles on Japan, maybe 4. And I'm really enjoying reading Rob Mitchum. I think he's
I think there's heaps of stuff we can read from him.
There's like maybe 1,000 articles or something.
Right.
But maybe we can just sort of like find some choice ones. It'd be fun to find a show that we were both at that we like actually remember. Maybe we should do Vegas 2000. Ooh.
I don't need to read any show. I honestly I can't remember the shows that I was at.
That's why it's fun to read about them because you might jog your memory.
Oh, you know what's interesting about these LP on LPs? They're backwards. That is a one little interesting tidbit.
What does that mean?
They load in on the wrong. Every records pull out from this side, don't they? Right? The LPs unload from this side.
Oh, they're for lefties. Thank God. Thank you, Phish. Left is how I'm forced to learn. No, you know that, like, in addition to it being a man's world, it is also a right-handed world.
Sure.
I am both a woman and a lefty, so I find frustration in many things about the modern world. But a world made for righties. So I'll give a quick example, and then we can sign off. Okay. When I was on my river trip, we had a night where we played blackjack, where I won the boot and I won the koozie, and we all made like really super fun adult choices that night. But my buddy Frank, whose birthday it was, had this light up ultraviolet string toy. So it's a piece of string.
Yeah, I've seen those before. Those are cool. Explain it though.
And so it's a piece of string on a motor, and the motor makes the string go really fast, but it's a circle. So because of, the friction or whatever and the speed of the motor, you hold it like a little gun, and then you turn on the UV light, and in the dark, it's like this like yellow light up glow string, and you can move it and sort of dance with it and touch it and push it and whatnot. So it's fucking made for a righty. And I tried to do it with my left hand, but you can't turn on the UV light because you can't grab it with your. So
that
frustrating. On top of like having to, always dine with like sorry, I'm a lefty. Can I sit at this side of the table or at the end of the table? I'm not trying to like be queen, but like I eat left. I'm gonna bump you. So anyway, I thank you, Phish, for making a left-handed record. Maybe
there you go.
Is it all the LP on LPs?
I don't know, but the 2 that I have are. So just to confirm the show, the Slip Stitch and Patch show, it was indeed Hamburg, March 1st, the whole show, I guess. And at the Mark, the Beatles played there, I think. The Mark, I'm not sure, but it's a very famous. I've seen that venue before. Mark Tale. Mark Tall, MARKTHALLE. Mark Tall. I think it's this,
not the cavern.
Greek building. Yeah. No. I think if I could be mistaken. It's also a popular stash. Let's see, reviews Hamburg. Okay, so that's good to know. I thought it was like, a compilation of songs. That's great to know, though. Okay, and there was another thing he says here. He clarifies his comment. Pulse and pitch means that the band focuses on a note. Modes and vibes change, and a beat, same, changes. 93 Speed of Life jams were the Hey Hole practicing. Yeah, this is before. This is Hey Hole. I don't know what this is. I've heard this before, but I don't know what this is. So this is where we need to get somebody like you to come on and like really school us, break this down.
Well, again, and Tuck is a music educator.
Yeah.
So he has the language and the patience to sort of like for us to prod at him, and he has enough words and infrastructure both like for the layperson and technically as a musician to like really give
Yeah, well, let's get
give
them
us
up.
a
Let's
dish.
get them up sometime, or let's get them up.
All
I
right.
think, Tuck, we're gonna have like we'll have guests on from time to time. I think we've had one, and we have plans to have another one or two, maybe three more people. Actually, like that could be a thing, Anna. That's kind of on you to work on.
No,
and
I
then,
really want to do that. We had Dave Watts. We're gonna get Edwin. I think I invited Mike Travis to come down if he was still in town tonight, but like I said, I don't have my phone.
You should get Karuchi and
we got to get Cara and Jamie.
Get them on together. That would be fun. And then get Tuck on too. And then the other thing is that I want to do like if we get to 10 episodes or 12 episodes or something, we should have a party and get a bunch of people on screen at the same time.
We're gonna definitely get to 10. We are like Phish playing a long game.
Yeah, it's a long game.
Improvisational long game. And if you like,
we're
like Jamie Janover, you text Mike Gordon, you're like, hey, I'm in town. And Mike's like, come on up and play some dulcimer, man. We got.
Did that happen? Did that happen recently?
I don't know. I just feel like it could. So cool. Maybe it did once.
Oh, this is a good comment. The story of the guest.
The story of the guest.
Oh, we totally forgot. Gayute.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. That needs to be our sign off. The Phish fan in me recognizes and bows to the Phish fan in you.
The rabid Phish fan in you.
The rabid Phish fan in you. Gayute.
Gayute.
Namaste, Gayute. The story of the guest is good. Fucking awesome. Thank you, Tuck. Amazing.
Yeah, we owe you one for that one.
Yeah, we do. We're gonna credit you.
Don't forget that. Don't forget that. I'll write that down. Yeah, story of the guest. Let's get a bunch of those. Those will be fun. Like the the meat stick minute or whatever these things are. That like little moments in the show.
We'll have to bring my alter ego Willie, aka.
Oh yeah, okay. Close this out with Willie, and then I gotta go. I gotta get out of here. Like I really gotta go. Okay, save it for next time, maybe.
It's just me with a mustache. I'll come on as Willie next time. I need to get some new mustache glue because I used it all up at Frick Frack. All right, Bri. This was awesome. We talked a total of like 5.5 hours today.
I know. I don't know if we can keep doing this.
I'm really glad it's ending on a joyous and loving note.
I'm just writing down.
What you didn't hear when I was saying nice things about you is
I can't wait to go back and listen to it.
Well, I'll just reiterate. You have always been genuine, curious, amazing, human in your own right. And as my friend for a very long time, I bow to the rabid Phish fan in you. Gayute. Okay. You fucking rock, dude. I love you.
All right, you too. Love you too. Thanks for being here, everybody. Talk and 4D and James and all you lurkers who never left any comments but hung out the whole time. Appreciate everybody. I love
you the most. Lurkers or berserkers? Fuck yeah, let's go.
All right. Bye, everybody. See ya.
Until we meet again.